at again, tornado warning. This is south central, extreme south central LaFleur County. This is our second tornado warning we've seen in the area this morning, in our viewing area this morning, moving off towards the northeast. So heads up to you in Black Fork at 6:17, Brawley at 6:26, Hartford at 6:34, and Mansfield at 6:39. Let's zoom out a little bit more here, Michelle, and kind of get an idea of where Fort Smith and Van Buren are and I-40 is in relation to this tornado warning. Again, it's our far southwestern zones. Waldron, you're right here. This storm is tracking towards you. That's why we're watching it, is it's going to continue to stay from the southeast, moving from the southeast to the northeast. And again, this circulation could continue to tighten a little bit. We want to watch it. We're not getting confirmation. Again, it's early. There's a lot of rain. We don't have any spotters out there right now confirming that there's a tornado, but we want to continue to watch it. It's going to stay to the north and the west of Mena, but it is going to continue on this track. It could be heading right towards Waldron. Can we put a track on it from here specifically to Waldron and kind of get a time if it's moving, again, around 60 miles per hour? Heads up to you guys in Waldron, Scott County. Let's see how long it takes to get it there. You might have to adjust it a little bit more to the southeast. See if we can do that for you. I want to kind of really get an idea for the Waldron folks this morning. Again, we're going to take this circulation, track it to the northeast. Thank you, Michelle. And we're looking at Waldron around 6:39. That's about 30 minutes from now. That's a long ways away. It's getting there in a hurry because it's moving 60 miles per hour. Again, the possibility of some damaging wind gusts there. We've got some strong winds pushing through the northern half of LaFleur County. Those are getting ready to move into Fort Smith, Van Buren area as we speak. But again, we have the tornado warning right now, our southeastern zones of LaFleur County. Getting any new reports? I'm not seeing anything out there right now. Again, rural area. It's early in the morning, so sometimes it takes a little time. But we do have an area of circulation with some pretty serious storms moving through portions of southeastern Oklahoma. Can we go back to the watches and warnings graphic and give everybody an idea of who's under what? And we'll continue to watch this. The tornado warning, by the way, does go until 6:30 a.m. So that's got another 28 minutes for these warnings right here. We'll zoom out. Again, tornado watch in the yellow. This is for everyone. This is for all of northwest Arkansas, all of the River Valley, back into east central Oklahoma. And we will continue to watch this again until 7 a.m. All of our warnings right now, they are south of I-40. This is the area where the cap, the lid on the environment, it's the weakest. This is where we also have some of the warmer, more moisture-rich air. These storms are rolling into an environment that they love. They're feeding on that. It's like gasoline to a fire. That's the atmosphere that we have here in our southeastern zones. Again, we've seen a big widespread shield of heavy rain move through. Everyone's seeing the rain, the lightning, the gusty winds. Some of us are going to have to deal with the potential for some of those strong winds and the possibility of some of these tornadoes kind of pulsing up. And that's what we're watching, our latest tornado warning now coming out of LaFleur County. Look how quickly, just in the last few minutes, we've been tracking this. Here in another 10 minutes or so, it's probably going to be crossing the county line, state line, from LaFleur County into our western zones of Scott County. Again, some rural area here. We want to watch that. You can see what looks like a little bit of a hook right there. So, yeah, that's exactly where we're looking. Let's go ahead and put the CC on, see if we can maybe see any damage being picked up. Radar technology has really improved here, possibly right there. You seeing that, Michelle? Yeah, possibly, maybe a brief touchdown. Again, radar technology has improved over the last several years where we're not just relying on reflectivity and velocity, which shows us the winds. Before that, we could only look at it and say, hey, on radar, it looks like there could be a tornado. I think you really had to wait for damage reports to come in or spotters out there, police officers, emergency management officials to kind of say, hey, there is a tornado on the ground. Now we can use what we call CC, correlation coefficient. And what it's showing out there, everything in the red, that's rain. That's typical precipitation falling from the clouds. What we use this radar product for is to try to find out if there's anything else there that's not typical precipitation. We're talking trees, you're talking buildings, you're talking cars, limbs, any kind of debris that's not a typical round raindrop or hailstone. That's what we're looking for. Let's go back to velocity and see where that kind of lines up there again, and see if we can see if it kind of tracks. I mean, it's really close. It's right where the velocity is. You go back to reflectivity, even another one. It looks like there's a little bit of a hook in there. So it's possible we could have a tornado on the ground. It may have been brief, maybe it's lifted, but that's what we're watching. It's right here. It's to the south of Highway 270, southeastern LaFleur County. Rural area, it's to the east of 259, but this is moving to the northeast. And really, any of these thunderstorms, and Michelle, feel free to chime in, excuse me, but any of these thunderstorms here for the next couple of hours are going to be capable of doing what this storm just did. Pulsed up and started rotating very quickly. Michelle, you got anything?
So when I'm looking at the radar scope on my phone, which is a better, I think,
yeah, it does have a little better picture, doesn't it?
It does. On their velocity, it is showing a tighter couplet with that. So I think there is a possible tornado with this. Yeah,
we could be, you're right, we could be seeing a tornado on the ground. So we'll continue to watch that. The National Weather Service not adding anything new.
They did say that a tornado is capable of being located 5 miles east of Big Cedar, moving to the northeast at 50.
Okay. Yeah, so we may have an actual tornado on the ground right here. Everything kind of lining up where we are. So good thing this is in a little bit more of a rural area. Bad thing is these thunderstorms are still heading to the northeast. So Scott, Logan County, River Valley for Arkansas areas south of I-40. These thunderstorms taking a little bit of time. They're making their way out of central Oklahoma, southeast Oklahoma, and they're heading towards you. So we still got a couple more hours of this, but we could have a tornado on the ground. Not getting ground truth or confirmation from a spotter out there, but we're putting all of our radar elements together, and it's looking like it's lining up that we've certainly got some rotation there, and there's a hook on reflectivity. We're looking at velocity here. We've got the winds, and then when we go look at the CC product, it's showing us maybe a little bit of some debris being picked up, so things that are not raindrops or hailstones being shown up there on radar. Did we get a new scan or anything for the CC when you get a chance? Michelle, can we look at the correlation coefficient?
Sorry, Zach, what?
Can we scan back over to the CC and see if there's, with a new scan, maybe anything else looking a little bit more clear for us, trying to determine if there's a tornado on the ground? It's messy. Nothing right there that says it may have looked a little bit better with the last scan. Maybe something trying to show up there, but what we'll typically look for is even when some blue starts to show up on there, then you're really starting to say, okay, there's the potential for a real strong tornado on the ground. All right, let's go back to velocity. We're tracking the rotation. It's right there. It's broad. It doesn't show up as great on the velocity signature here. Again, we're to the southwest of the radar by a good bit, so it's out there. It's looking a little bit higher up in the storm. The further you go from the radar, then again, the Earth is round. The radar continues to shoot out as the Earth turns, and so you don't get that low-level look that you can when these storms are right next to the product. Trying to look here on the velocities on radar scope again and see if we can see a little tighter.
It does look very tight.
It does look like it's actually tightening. This storm may be strengthening. And, yeah, we certainly could have a tornado on the ground getting ready to move from LaFleur County into getting close to southwestern Scott County. I still think rotation here for those in Waldron. I think looking at the track, if it stays right now, and it's always possible these could start to turn a little more to the right, I think rotation looks like it may stay just to the west of Waldron, but it's going to be very close. So if you're watching this morning, you live around Highway 270, take your tornado safety precautions, interior part of your home or your office building, and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So if the walls come down, you've got another wall protecting you. If you've got time, and you got to hurry, especially if you're near or south of 270, put your tennis shoes on. You saw the damage. We've already been getting reports and seeing the video from Tiffany as she's out driving around northwest Arkansas this morning. Think about it. If you're barefoot and then the storm's over, it passes, you want to go out and look at things. Now you've got debris that you're stepping on. So if you can, think about it. Grab the tennis shoes, get some towels, get some blankets, get anything you can kind of cushion yourself, as we could have a tornado on the ground moving towards Highway 270 and eventually moving towards western portions of Scott County. And we'll continue to watch this. This rotation may get very close to southeastern portions of Sebastian County. Michelle, are you seeing anything else new? Let's zoom out and look at the rest of the storms, too. I want to give a quick, brief update for everyone in northwest Arkansas, let you see what radar looks like. I know it's still a little noisy out there with the heavy rain. We can go over to reflectivity. All right. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so again, mess. Still showers and thunderstorms. Here's Benton County. There's this is Washington County. This is Crawford, Sebastian. We're watching these thunderstorms. They're kind of strengthening. We got to watch more of these thunderstorms. There's rotation in these storms as they continue to transition off towards the southeast. This is a nasty storm with the tornado warning here, moving towards western Scott County. We're still tracking the thunderstorms moving through Lafleur County, heading up towards Sebastian. The possibility of some damaging wind gusts embedded in there. Very heavy rainfall, a lot of lightning as well. Let's go a little further north, Sequoia County. We're watching it for you as well. I think right now you look fine in Benton County. You're just dealing with some moderate rainfall. The atmosphere a little bit more overworked right here, so you're just dealing with the steady showers and some rumbles of thunder. I know these still look a little scary to you with some reds and deeper reds and oranges showing up here. Cluster of thunderstorms is pushing through Madison County, extreme eastern Carroll County. These are below severe limits, but I wouldn't be shocked. There's going to be some gusty winds. Could even be maybe some small hailstones mixed in there, and then a lot of lightning. That's going to continue off towards the east. We go back down to the south a little bit more. Fort Smith, you were kind of in the clear, in and out of some showers for a while. You're getting inundated right now, so if you got to get ready to head out for your morning commute, give yourself some extra time if you can. If you can, hold off. I would even hold off, as you got a lot of heavy rain coming down, some gusty winds, lightning, ponding on the roadways. Slow it down out there. And then, of course, we're watching this all the way off towards the south. We have thunderstorm warnings out for a good portion of Lafleur County with this tornado warning in extreme southeastern zones. Still moving around 60 miles per hour, Michelle?
It's 50.
It's down to 50
yes.
now? Okay. And National Weather Service not adding anything new. And then we're still looking at that rotation, looking pretty impressive there.
It looks very tight, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this storm really looks like it just continues to increase in intensity and really tightening with every scan that we're getting. We're seeing this area of rotation. I know for you at home, it doesn't look like a whole lot, but there is some serious rotation in there. That's why we have the tornado warning. Again, it's early, it's dark, there's a lot of rainfall out here. This tornado would likely could even be rain wrapped a little bit. Let's go to reflectivity if we can. And it did have a pretty well-defined hook on it. Now it's a little bit more, yeah, I mean, it would be in there. This storm, so if it is producing a tornado, even with the lightning strikes, you may not be able to see it. It could be rain wrap. That's going to continue off towards the northeast. Production, we're going to continue to track this storm out as it moves to the northeast. Do we have anything new that we need to add? Do we have any other reports out there that Lauren and Ruben can give us, or anything of that nature that you want to get to? Feel free to chime in my ear, and we can throw it back to you guys whenever. Ruben, do you got something new?
Yeah, we can get you updated real quick while you guys kind of reset the radar and take a look.
Perfect.
There's a tornado warning and watch on the ground in Lafleur County, so we want to get back to that quickly. But we do want to get you updated on some of the damage that has been happening in northwest Arkansas as that storm went through, especially in the Springdale area, where not one but two businesses we're hearing have suffered some major damage.
Yeah, we're hearing lots of reports of damage in the Springdale area, so we want to send it out to our photojournalist Riley Deloche first for a look at a business that is heavily damaged there.
Hey, Riley, can you hear us? Are you there? Yeah. All right, Riley, can you just tell us what you're seeing out in the area? This is the Nilfisk building, I believe, the Nilfisk business that was, which was pretty heavily damaged. As you can see, it looks like the building is almost completely destroyed at this point in time. As you take a look at these pictures from this morning and these live pictures, as we're getting another look as the sun starts to come up a little bit, it gets a little brighter out there. Just take a look at the damage there. Just completely destroyed.
It's a scary situation out there. There is a power line down in that area as well. And a woman who actually sent us photos earlier of this business says her friend had to go get his sister from that building. We have asked if they had any interest in sharing more of what happened, but as you can imagine, they're pretty shaken up right now, as they were around that business this morning.
Yeah, so we're going to keep giving you updates on the damage as we see it. But again, tornado warning issued right now, so we need to get back to meteorologist Zach Scott and Michelle Trotter so they can keep you safe and keep you updated, guys.
Hey, perfect. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Laura. Again, thanks to production. Thanks to everybody working hard this morning to keep everybody safe across Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. We did a little adjustment here. We fixed the radar for you, and I think we can see clearer here. You can see what we've been looking at off towards the side. this is the rotation. I'll let meteorologist Michelle Trotter's in-house this morning with me helping out. Go ahead and put this in motion, and you can see what we've been talking about, how this has been intensifying, it's been strengthening, and you can see how the blues and the greens are coming together, and you can see how it's gotten darker blues, darker greens as it's kind of tracked. It's getting ready to cross the state line. It's going to be heading towards Scott County. We have a newly issued tornado warning. The Scott, Logan counties, the National Weather Service out of Little Rock, that office controls your warnings. They finally have jumped on board as this storm has continued to intensify. And even look at that little flash right there. Can we go look at, let's look at the CC, the correlation coefficient now, and see if we're picking up. Everything on radar says that we very well could have a tornado on ground. We're still not seeing any debris being lofted. At times, it looked like we may have seen something out there. We're getting those scans to continue to go through. We'll keep looking at that. I'll even have that pulled up over the side. As soon as we see something, we can get a little bit more confirmation. We'll try to get that to you. But, yeah, we're waiting. No confirmation from the National Weather Service. There's no watchers or spotters out here watching this. But everything on radar says that there could be a pretty nasty tornado pushing through extreme southeastern LaFleur County. Fogle, heads up to you. This is on top of you right now. If there is a tornado on the ground, it is going to be pushing through your area as we speak. Again, remember, these scans are a couple minutes delayed, right? It takes time for the radar to scan around, send that information back to us. And because that, we do get a little bit of a look back into the past. And then when we get our next scan, it's going to jump several miles. So that's what we're getting right here. Let's go ahead and remove the track and get the latest scan. So now Blackfort, Brawley, we're looking at this moving towards you. Maybe weakening in this latest scan here, certainly is weakening. So we could have a tornado that has crossed over 270. Everything on radar looks like we could have had a strong tornado to the south, certainly to the east of 259. So we want to continue to track this. Circulation is weakened some, but with these thunderstorms, and this is more of one of those supercells, Michelle, potentially out ahead of this cluster of rainfall to the west. So with these kind of thunderstorms, been tracking them from Oklahoma to Texas over the last several years. I've seen these. They can pulse back up. They kind of cycle through a little bit. You can get a tornado to pulse up, kind of weaken, and then it can spawn another tornado. These thunderstorms, they do have life cycles, lifespans, and they do that quite often. That's very typical. So we want to continue to watch this storm as it continues to move off towards the northeast. A little bit of a ball right there. So again, if this is producing a tornado, it's likely been rain wrapped. Circulation's broader, but it's still there, and we're tracking as it's right on the state line right now. It's going to be close to you in Waldron. Heads up to you, Highway 71 from Waldron up to the north, heading towards Fort Smith, Van Buren, I-40. The circulation is going to continue to move to the northeast. We could see it tighten up. We could see it, again, cycle through and try to produce another tornado. We haven't had confirmation, but just everything me and Michelle have been seeing here for the last 30 minutes or so has been showing us that this thing likely on radar very well could have had a tornado on the ground, so we'll continue to watch that. I know this is some rural areas, but if for the few people that even do live out here, we got you covered. We're watching you. We're always going to keep track of you, and we're going to continue to watch the storm move off towards the northeast. So we're seeing that broad circulation. It's moving into our western counties, and we'll continue to track it out. We've got some gusty winds. You can kind of see that line right there. So that's where some stronger winds are also pushing out of LaFleur County into southern Sebastian County. Some gusty winds around Fort Smith and Van Buren as well. So we had the tornado warning for LaFleur County. That's the Tulsa office. We have a new warning here. That's from Little Rock, and that goes off towards the northeast for the rest of the western and northwestern half of Scott County. Michelle, anything new that you're seeing?
No, do not see anything new.
Okay, so again, that's our strongest storm that we're watching. Watch these areas of rotation pulse up and down. A lot of rotation in the atmosphere, especially south of I-40 this morning. We've already had a few warnings. Some of you may have slept through it. We had some strong storms push through portions of Benton and Washington County. Had a tornado warning, thunderstorm warning earlier, and we've had our crews out there, Tiffany working hard, getting a lot of damage videos and pictures sent back in. Tiffany's out there finding damage north of Johnson, northeast of Johnson, on the southeast side of Springdale. That's where we're finding some of the damage this morning from a possible tornado. Now, I got to remind you, the National Weather Service, they'll be in charge of going out and confirming that here in the next day or so. They'll get out there, they'll survey and tell us, was it straight line winds Was it a tornado? And there's multiple ways you can do that. With tornado damage, as the sun starts to come up here in a little bit and we get some light, tornado damage is just going to be chaotic. It's going to be strewn everywhere, and it's not going to have any kind of a rhythm to it whatsoever. With straight line wind damage, with those strong wind gusts, which is possible with some of these storms today, you're going to get pretty much everything blown from this side of your yard to this side. So again, it'll be a straight line. That's why we call it straight line winds. It moves from one area straight over to the other, and you can see that everything's blown in that same direction. Fences are blown down. Trees are all blown in the same direction. Excuse me there, but with tornado damage, it's just scattered everywhere. So we're watching the latest tornado warning for western Scott County. This storm is it's weakened with its rotation. It may have had a strong tornado briefly on the ground for southeastern Lafleur County. We're going to continue to watch that off towards the northeast. That is the only tornado warning that we currently have.
Hey, Matt, not Matt, sorry, Zach.
Yes.
We did get an update that's saying that Springdale has closed school today.
Okay.
There's no school for Springdale.
And that is due to severe weather and power outages.
Was hit by the storm pretty bad. There are some pictures on social media, so we're communicating with our district now.
Ruben, Laura, have we had any of the latest numbers on what some of these power outages around the area are looking at or looking like?
We can take a look at it right now as we start to get back into that. It looks like, let me see, let's pull.
At last check, SWEPCO customers, there were about 10,000 people without power in northwest Arkansas, close to the Springdale area. And that's still that way right now.
Yeah, there's well over 10,000 people with SWEPCO, and then about 3,000 people with
Ozark.
Comes to Ozark Electric as well. All right, so there's the SWEPCO map for you, and those numbers are probably going to increase a little bit as the day goes forward, as the sun comes up, and as people get up. A lot of that damage through the Springdale area. We're talking about gas leaks. We're talking about power outages. We're talking about severe damage to at least a couple of businesses in at least one neighborhood that we know of so far at this point. Elementary schools have been damaged. In fact, Springdale Public Schools, as you guys just mentioned, will not be in school today because of the damage that's going through the area right now. So we've taken a look at this. I know we had powered down some of our shots that were out there, but we'd love to take a look at. Yeah, let's take a look. We're going to see if we can see anything that's happening in the Springdale area with photojournalist Riley DeRoche.
Yeah, so we're going to go back out to Nilfisk, which is a business on Robinson Avenue, hit pretty heavily by this storm. So, Riley, what's it looking like there?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Riley can hear us.
Oh,
yeah, I'm not sure if he can hear us.
But we'll try to take a picture at what he's looking at. But we will tell you, when we took his camera earlier, I mean, a building heavily damaged there, lots of debris all over the ground, and employees who were there at the time have told us they're very shaken up over the whole situation.
Yeah, I can tell you that I reached out to Lafleur County Laura, we reached out to Lafleur County Emergency Management just a few minutes ago to find out, because we heard the tornado warning, and they told me that as of right now, there had been no confirmed tornado on the ground. They had no reports of damage or no reports of injury at this point in time, but that they did know that severe storm was about 4 miles northwest of Mountain Fork. That's what they were telling me. So they were monitoring that situation pretty heavily as well.
Yeah, so anyone in the Highway 270 area of Lafleur County definitely being impacted right now. But I do want to mention one more time, if you're just now joining us, back in Springdale is where the storm hit around 4:30 this morning. And I am texting with one of the people at the district and administration who has said the Springdale School District, which is the largest district in Arkansas, no school today for the entire district.
There's going to be a lot of people in Springdale waking up without power this morning, which I'm sure plays a big part in that role. All right, we've got you caught up on some of the damage and some of the reports that we've got. Zach and Michelle, and we know you guys want to get everybody caught up on the watches and warnings as well.
Yeah, and if it's possible, if it's not possible, let me know quickly. Guys, can you throw up in the control room behind me? Can you put that map we had up of all the outages? Is that possible, where we had the latest outage? If I could stand in front of that briefly, there was something that I was going to show you. That's basically what I was wanting to look at, is where we're seeing those outages there. Yeah, can we zoom in right there a little bit closer? So I can't stand in front of it. Okay. Go to the northeast a little bit. Go up towards 412. Where we're seeing that cluster just to the east, where we're seeing that cluster right there. That's right where we were showing you when we went back, and we'll try to do that again here shortly. We'll try to go back and show you the radar. That's right where we saw that couplet, that circulation, our first tornado warning of the morning. That's exactly where that went over. Okay, thank you guys for doing that. So that lines up. That's where we've been seeing the damage. You're seeing the outages. That lines up. That's exactly where we saw that circulation start to tighten as it crossed Interstate 49 right over the station. I mean, right over top of us. If it had been on the ground when it came over top of us, we would have had the damage right here. So we were just lucky enough, but unfortunately some of our friends, our family, our neighbors just to the northeast of us on the southeast side of Springdale, not as fortunate this morning. We have another warning. We're still watching this. Michelle and I noticing it's tightening back up, Michelle. This is maybe trying to cycle through what I was talking about a couple minutes ago. These thunderstorms, and I believe this one's more of a supercell. They cycle through like that, and so that's a rotating thunderstorm. That's the difference between a supercell and a thunderstorm. Is you're talking about a rotating thunderstorm is called a supercell. So the difference in there is you've got the rotating updraft that often can give you the bigger hailstones, gives you the chance for the tornadic activity, and you can get a lot of rainfall and those strong winds. So we're watching that signature. This is velocity. We're looking at the winds. So the blue here is showing the winds moving towards the radar. Green showing the winds moving away from the radar. Radar is just to the north up around Fort Smith. So we're seeing that counterclockwise swirl of the storm, watching that rotating updraft. This is moving to the northeast. I still think, Waldron, you're not in the tornado warning. It's going to be close to you. We've been tracking it for a little while now. I still think it's going to stay just to the northwest of you. It's going to get very close. Again, Ruben and Laura talking about it. We were watching this storm really tighten up as it got down into southeastern LaFleur County. Would not be shocked if there's some tornadic damage down there. When the sun comes up, we're able to find that later this morning. And don't get me wrong, I've seen enough severe weather over the years that you can get intense rotation. The storm can absolutely be rotating. Doesn't always produce a tornado. So it is still possible. We didn't get a tornado on the ground, but everything on radar was saying there's a good bet that there is a tornado either happening or fixing to happen just to the south of 270. And as it crossed 270, weakened. We're still watching that rotation, trying to tighten back up. I think the storm is cycling a little bit, so we will want to specifically keep our eyes on this storm as it moves northeast through northwestern Scott County. And again, heads up to you, you're not in the warning right now. We're tracking a tornado warning down in our far southern zones. You're not in the warning in Sebastian County, but this storm is tracking towards you. Mansfield, heads up. It looks like the circulation, if it continues to hold together, is going to go between Mansfield and Waldron, and then eventually we're looking at Logan County. And if the storm can continue to hold it together and the environment is conducive for it to do so, this storm could certainly continue to make its way to the I-40 corridor. Michelle, I know you're talking right now, but here in a moment or two when you get a shot, let's go ahead and try to track out this circulation moving to the northeast around 40 miles per hour to kind of give folks a heads up. Again, I think it's going to stay to the north of Waldron. I think the circulation is going to stay to the southeast of Mansfield. You're okay. But again, if you're on Highway 71 here, again, you're going to see this circulation passing by here shortly. When you get a chance, let's go ahead and do a track just on the rotation there and take it out to the northeast. You can even take it into southwestern Logan County if you want. Again, circulation's likely going to stay to the south of Greenwood as well. Again, just a messy scene. Tornado warning expired for LaFleur County. You've still got some nasty storms rolling through. Another intense storm crossing Highway 59 there. So we may have just had a tornado on the ground. There's a new thunderstorm warning. We'll get the latest of that. Here we go. We've got Michelle with the latest track. Again, Brawley 632. This is the circulation. So we're watching the area of rotation moving off towards the northeast. Oliver 638. Washburn 7 o'clock, and Boonville down the road 707. It's weakened some, but the rotation's still there. And as long as it stays the way it is right now, I know the National Weather Service is going to continue to keep this storm tornado warned. So it's going to continue to move off towards the northeast. Michelle, have you had the latest chance to look at the latest thunderstorm warning for LaFleur again? Let's see. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot there.
You're fine. It is moving 60 miles per hour, actually, and you could see hail with this and 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah. And again, most of the concern here today has been more for straight line winds and then the occasional brief spin up. Though this might be the strongest storm. This is the strongest storm that we've seen so far this morning. Pulsed up. Oh, you can see it again, too. Sometimes when you slow it down, you can see the rotation in this thunderstorm. You can see, I know it's kind of quick. Can we slow it down? Can you kind of go frame by frame, Michelle, as we track this storm out? You can see as our storm comes up, you'll watch, it'll have a little bit of a ball to it on the southern end. And Okay. Again, we're continuing to track this this tornado warning. It's weakened some. It's in northwestern Scott County. We do have some new images coming in from Tiffany. She's out in the field of some of the Springdale schools that have been impacted, I believe. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull those up.
Yeah, this is George Elementary. Take a look.
Good. Hey guys, we're here in Springdale right now at George Elementary, where you can see that it is a crazy sight right now. The roof is completely off of the back gym, and it is just, you can see it's way over to the side right now. We have a lot of crews out here that are working to deal with this, and the communications director is actually on his way right now to give us details. What we do know for now is that Springdale schools right here, George Elementary, it is canceled today as they figure out this and try to clean up the mess. But like we said, this is all we know for now. We do know that at this time, no injuries have been reported. No one was around at the time of the accident. But again, we will be talking to that communications director here in just a few minutes, so we'll be able to come back alive a little bit later with some more updates. But for now, that's what we have. So back to you.
Okay, as we take a look at that picture, man, that is just it gives you an idea how lucky and fortunate, and if you want to say that school was not in when this storm went through. No kids in that building when that happened.
And we want to reiterate, too, there is a damaged business in Springdale, too. This is Nilfisk on Robinson Avenue, and this is a live picture at what people there are dealing with. We do understand that there were some employees there this morning. We're not sure if anybody was hurt at this point in time, but you can see a lot of damage at that building. Yeah,
we are all over the area trying to get you as much information on the damage and the power outages as we can. But first, let's get you caught up on the radar with Michelle and Zach. They make sure we want to keep you up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, great work, Ruben and Laura and Tiffany out there working hard. Be safe. Again, we've still got showers and thunderstorms in the area. We've still got lightning strikes and heavy rain coming down across northwest Arkansas. We're focused in here this morning right now, currently on this thunderstorm. You can see the hook there. This is a rotating thunderstorm. It's moving to the northeast. Still looks like it's going to split Dayton and Waldron. There is the rotation. When you get a second, Michelle, let's switch over to the other velocity mode that we're using, the NWS velocity. It gives us a little bit better look of where that tight couplet is. So we're getting some strong winds out there, not as well defined as it once was. Are you on the NWS one that we were using? Okay, it's just kind of changed on us a little bit, not as clear a picture. Oh, there you go. You can still see it's weakened some. Broad area of rotation. We'll continue to track that. We still have a thunderstorm down in Leflore County. You can see the darker blues. That's where you have some strong winds. So some damaging wind gusts possibly there just south of Leflore, north of Smith Mill. That's going to continue to work off towards the east. Okay, so the good news is it does look like the rotation is weakening. Becoming a little bit more broad. This warning does continue to go out, though, until 7 a.m., I believe. So we'll continue to track it for a while. And again, this is a potential tornado located just 7 miles to the north of Queen Wilhelmina State Park. Or northwest, 60 miles northwest of Mena, and it's moving very quickly, 65 miles per hour. Storms are racing across the area, 50 to 65 miles per hour. That's just the storm motion. When you get storm motion like that, it also creates some strong winds to go with it. You can't be whipping across like that and not produce strong winds. You're moving along 60, 65 miles per hour. It's a good bet that some of these storms are capable of producing 60, 65 mile per hour winds as well as they kind of just race across the area. Here's the latest. Great job, Michelle, on tracking out the circulation. Still moving to the northeast. Abbott 6:50, Washburn 7 o'clock, and Charleston 7:11. We're in extreme west central portions of Scott County. This is going to clip southeastern zones of Sebastian County and then into western, southwestern Logan County. Let's go ahead and do an update radar of the entire viewing area, Michelle, if we can. Let's go ahead and check and, again, give everybody another idea. We've got so many of you scattered out there this morning and a lot going on. We've had damage from a possible tornado in Springdale this morning. No warnings currently across the north, but we're still dealing with, while you've got everybody trying to get out there, assess the damage, get things cleaned up, just start to figure out what happened and what's going on, you're still dealing with all this rainfall coming in. Good news, again, I think the next set of counties, probably could be sooner than later, removed from the tornado watch are going to be our northwestern zones from Benton to Washington County. Severe thunderstorm warning just to the east of Carroll County. That's outside the viewing area, so we'll let that go. Shower activity, look at the reds and oranges. They're weakening some. the greatest chance for strong storms is continuing to shift a little bit further south, but this could continue across Scott and Logan County for the next hour or two. And again, we're tracking a supercell out in advance of our line of storms. It's moving off towards the northeast. And overall, we may be trending down here, so that's good news. But some very heavy rainfall, ponding on the roadways. That's going to be a possibility. We've seen a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall across a good portion of northwest Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma this morning. So low-lying, poor drainage areas that fill up with water just for random thunderstorms, going to be filling up with some water. So there's going to be some water out there while the rain's still coming down. As we loosen or lighten the intensity of the rain, that water will be able to drain off a little bit. But overall, we weren't in a drought, so the moisture content in the soil is kind of up there. So you're going to get a lot of extra runoff when there's not a lot of room for the soil to take in that water. All right, so again, a warning to the northeast of us, out of our area. We're still under the tornado watch. The next set of counties to be removed, I think, will be Benton, Washington counties. Cluster showers and thunderstorms inundating the I-40 corridor. Okay, let's go to Raleigh. Let's go ahead and check out that business. Ruben, Laura, I'll let you guys handle this.
Yeah, let's take a look at this, at the damage of this building. This is this is an 18. You can see it in the middle of your screen there. That's a semi-truck turned over right there in the middle of your screen. It's obviously next to a warehouse building. You can see the docks in the bays. This is the Nilfisk building that we've been talking about all morning, Laura.
Yeah, it's located on East Robinson Avenue there in Springdale. Extensive damage at that business, and now we're seeing, yes, that semi tipped on its side. So quite a sight to see, and some very horrendous damage, to be frank, that we're looking at right now. You see metal just tipped on its side as well.
Yeah, and obviously the rain impeding a little bit of the ability to see all of the details, but you can tell that that building has been damaged from the side where the siding has been ripped off because of the wind. You can see the loading docks are already disproportionate to where the actual truck is. And then, of course, the truck itself, that's got to be some powerful wind, Zach, to knock that semi-truck over on its side all over. And then again, let's take a look at the Springdale. This is George Elementary there in Springdale, and you can see this building heavily damaged.
Yeah, and all of Springdale schools have decided to call off class today because of storm damage like this that we're seeing. Extensive damage at George Elementary School there, but also power outages impacting a lot of the Springdale school districts. So Trent Jones of Springdale Schools did tell me that school is off today for all kids in the district.
All right, so let's get you caught up on some of the major damage that we've seen in the area. Zach, Michelle, we know that you guys are still tracking storms over there.
Yeah, and again, we do still have the tornado warning out for western portions of northwest portions of Scott County. Now, good news is this rotation does continue to weaken, so that's great. Just piggybacking off of what you guys were talking about, yeah, you don't have to have 100+ mile-per-hour winds to knock over a semi like that. You could do it with 50, 60 mile-per-hour winds. We've had the threat for some straight-line winds as we've gone through the morning, and then also the possibility of those tornadoes, and again, the damage just continues to come in. We're still, I think we're exactly an hour away from sunlight arriving here in northwest Arkansas and in portions of Oklahoma, the River Valley. So we'll continue to get a better picture of what's going on. Again, I want to remind you that if the tornado is confirmed, and again, we were looking at radar, it was there, the signature was there, it looks like the damage is adding up with where the signature was. The National Weather Service will be responsible for going out and confirming that over the next day or two. And then you can't rate a tornado. You don't rate it until it's done. You go back, you assess the damage, and you say, this was a well-built school, home, building with these materials. It would take this kind of wind to create that kind of damage. That's how they do it. So again, we're looking at the pictures. They do look awful this morning, but again, we're not going to be able to just throw out random numbers of it was an EF 1, 2, or 3. The National Weather Service will go out. They'll survey the damage. This is what these guys do. They do this. They look at the damage all across the country, and they train for this all year. And they go out and they say it takes this kind of wind speed and this kind of tornado strength to create this kind of damage. And unfortunately, we're finding a lot of that across the Springdale area, portions of northwest Arkansas. May even find some damage down in southern LaFleur County with the tornado warning that we had for you guys. That's since expired. You're still dealing with another severe thunderstorm warning. This happens sometimes when you're in these really active situations. Just because your one storm passes through, for some of you, you get one storm and you're done. You don't have another one and track through. Sometimes you get a tornado warning and then you can get another warning behind it. That's kind of what you're seeing in southern LaFleur County. You've been hammered here over the last hour. You had a potential tornado move through, strong thunderstorm capable of producing one, heavy rain, some hail, and now you've got another thunderstorm with more lightning and rain and some strong wind gusts possible there for you guys too. So we're thinking about you off towards the south, but we're tracking the storm. It's moving closer to Mansfield, off towards the northeast. Again, the warning is going to continue to go. This is out of the Little Rock office. The tornado warning is going to continue to go until 7 a.m., so it's 6:35 right now. But when we go to velocity, and then Michelle, I know you're working hard over there. Can we go to velocity and get the latest look at that? It's really weakened, so that's good news. It's become more broad. It's not as tight a couplet, and we're not seeing that strong rotation. And the National Weather Service literally saying it as we speak, that rotation is diminished, and so we're watching to see if it reorganizes. And that's what we already have kind of seen. With these supercell thunderstorms. They cycle, they rotate, and we could see it going through a little bit of a cycle. The National Weather Service is going to hold on just to make sure the storm doesn't cycle through. But I can tell you, Ruben, Laura in the control room, right now, not an imminent threat. It doesn't look like this warning is going to continue potentially for another 30 minutes or so. But the rotation has really weakened. We may have had, I mean, it was pretty impressive signature down towards the south in southeastern portions of LaFleur County right as it got ready to cross Highway 270. Pretty impressive signature there. So that was the best bet for the tornado. Right now, the system has weakened a little bit, could be cycling. The rotation is, it doesn't look ominous right now. Again, the rotation is weakened. The storm's still rotating. There's a lot of rotation in the air. A lot of these storms are rotating, but I'm not seeing any threat immediately of a tornado. Still, go ahead, take precautions. Still a nasty storm out there. So if you're in Waldron, you're in Sebastian County, you're in Logan County, go ahead, hang out if you can. If you don't have to hit the roadways, give your boss a heads up. Ask him if you can have a little extra time coming in this morning. These storms, they're serious. We've had the warnings. We've had the tornado warnings. We've had the severe thunderstorm warnings. We've even had storms that weren't severe, but they're still producing 30, 40, 50 mile per hour winds. There's a lot of water on the roadways. There's lightning. It's really not the best environment to have to head out. See if you can stay in a little bit longer. I would definitely recommend it, especially south of I-40. Let these storms pass by. What do you got to hurt? What's it going to hurt? You know, let these storms move through, and then you can go ahead and get your Wednesday going. Again, we have had schools are canceled in the Springdale area with a lot of the damage coming in from the potential tornado this morning. Here's the warning we currently have. Tornado warning in Scott County and a severe thunderstorm warning in portions of LaFleur County. Can we go back to velocity? I also want to check in on our friends down there in LaFleur County and just kind of see what the wind field looks like. We're not really looking right now for the potential of a tornado, but down here I want to see what the winds look like, maybe some strong winds, some of those blues. That's where, yeah, it would be crossing right there. It's getting ready to exit LaFleur County, but where you're getting kind of the blues and the brighter green showing up, that's where we could see possibly 60 mile per hour winds. So straight line wind threat certainly exists. It's getting ready to exit and likely stay just to the south of Scott County, but Scott County, where you're seeing these blues and these brighter colors here, some strong winds, some gusty winds. So we're watching that as thunderstorms continue to move through. Let's go ahead and zoom out. Michelle, again, just joining us, meteorologist Michelle Trotter, doing a fantastic job this morning, helping me run radar so we can really just try to tag team the entire team here this morning at KFSM, doing a good job. 5 News trying to get out there, get you the latest, keep you up to date, and get you ready as we still got our whole Wednesday ahead of us, right? Seems it's already been a full day's worth of work here this morning. A lot of rain, nothing severe, just steady showers for Benton, Washington County. Still got some thunderstorms. Madison County, it seems like you've just been sitting in the heavy rain for a while. You've got some thunderstorms below severe limits there in the southern areas of your county. But we are looking at the possibility, again, the heavy rain and some gusty winds below severe limits. You work back down towards the south. The storms get a little brighter with the reds and the oranges. You can even see them. They kind of pulse up and down. They're cycling through. Again, still the most favorable area for severe weather here over the next couple of hours. It's going to be down here south of I-40. Eventually, we will see this whole line re-intensify, even for north central Arkansas. The entire rest of the natural state is going to be under the gun as this strong system continues to push to the southeast. The Mississippi River Valley and Mississippi, Alabama later today going to be under the gun for some severe weather. It's this system right here. This is going to continue to track through. So if you're hearing about some severe weather later today coming out for our neighbors to the southeast, it's this system. It originated originated, moved through our area, and is pushed off towards the southeast. We'll continue to watch it. Michelle, you seen anything new on radar?
I do not, but it still really seems like the velocity has died down just a little bit. So I feel like if you're in Scott County, this is just to the northwest of Waldron, expect some strong winds with this system.
Yeah, gusty winds. Again, like Michelle just said, I'm not seeing anything that says that there's a tornado about to form. The system has cycled at times a little bit. It could be in the midst of cycling again. Some gusty winds. You're still under tornado warning. Highway 71 north of Waldron over towards Mansfield. The warning goes for another 20 minutes. See if the National Weather Service, if this trend continues and it doesn't tighten back up, they may let it go. But with the environment we have, it is possible it could try to tighten up again. So they may just let the tornado warning continue to ride a little bit. And again, some potential for some damaging wind gusts down in LaFleur County. Let's go to radar again. Let's zoom around the area. Let's let everybody see a view of where they're at this morning. I want everyone to feel included. Again, we're watching heavy shower activity. We've got some thunderstorms starting to fire up again to the east, the northeast. They're out of the viewing area, but this line is going to build up. Oh, you know what, Michelle, let's go ahead and do this. It's down under the radars. Can we go ahead and go to the hour-by-hour future track radar? Give everybody a little bit of an idea. I don't have my clicker, so you'll have to advance it for me, but let's go ahead and get it going. So model overall doing a good job. We've got the warmer temperatures to the southeast. We've got this cluster of rain that's moving through. It's going to continue off towards the east. It will re-intensify as it gets east of us. We've got some lingering showers and thunderstorms possible on the backside, but the main activity is going to continue to shift off towards the east as we go through the rest of the day. And it's going to get colder, something we haven't even got to talk about yet. We've got south winds right now. We're going to get a north wind to come in later. As we go into the afternoon, temperatures are going to drop from the 50s into the 40s. We could even wrap up the afternoon, head into the evening with wind chills in the 30s. Yeah, so again, a strong system moving in. We've got the warm, muggy conditions in the warm sector out ahead of it. We've got the colder air that's going to filter in on the backside. Still holding on to the tornado watch for the entire area, again, until 7 a.m. I think these areas to the northwest are going to be the next ones to be removed from the watch when the National Weather Service in Tulsa gets around to doing it. They've got a busy morning themselves as well. And then we're watching the strongest storms inside the 5 News viewing area down towards the south. We've got the thunderstorm warning in southeastern LaFleur County, and we've got the tornado warning there in Waldron County. Going to continue to push off towards the southeast. Again, as the line gets east of us, we may see that really start to intensify again. So if you've got plans, you're traveling for work or pleasure down towards central Arkansas, off towards the south, maybe head into Little Rock, capital city later today, yeah, you're going to be riding with this line of storms as it heads that way. So heads up to you. If you're not out ahead of it right now, you may want to let it pass and ride on the backside. Again, not seeing anything too significant here. Still some broad rotation there just to the southwest of Highway 71. We've got some stronger wind gusts off towards the south. You can see that rotation. Yeah, good job, Michelle. You watch it as it, just how quickly that rotation intensified as it moved into southern LaFleur County, really tightened up and then fizzled out as it went into our eastern zone. Is that a new tornado warning?
Yes.
All right, so
you can see it forming right there on that signature. You see it just right there, north of Smithville.
Yeah, good job. So this is going to be rotating up very quickly. This is one of those brief spin ups. So heads up to you, happening right now as we speak. Potential tornado trying to get going, trying to tighten up and move across the county line into southern portions of LaFleur County. This is going to continue off towards the northeast very quickly. Again, starting to tighten up right there. So the National Weather Service now, once again, second time now in just the last hour, southern and southeastern LaFleur County under a tornado warning. Again, I know it's a rural area out here, but there are folks out there, and we want to make sure we take care of you this morning. So we have the one tornado to the north, tornado warning in Scott County. Again, the rotation is really weak in there, and we're watching more significant rotation starting to tighten up off towards the south. This would, if it continues, potentially move right over the same areas. It may, is it going maybe a little further north? It's so hard to tell with these. They almost rotate straight up like that.
It says northeast.
Okay, northeast. How fast is it moving?
65.
Okay. I'm going to grab a sip of water, and if you don't mind reading off some of these towns, that would really help.
Yes, so it is going 65 miles per hour. Where you see this tracker, it's heading towards Mountain Fork, 657. Waldron, I know a lot of people on Facebook Live are kind of worried about Waldron. I would get in your safe zone with this because if it does move into Scott County, you have the potential of seeing this tornado warned. It's not confirmed on the ground, but it's radar indicated by the National Weather Service. So here, again, here's some updates on the timing. Moving 65 miles per hour, so Oliver 717, Waldron 721, so about 40 minutes or so. Rich Mountain 703. So again, if you are in this basically tornado warned area, which is south of LaFleur County, make sure you're going inside of inner room where you're not by windows, so debris can hit you. But again, this is for LaFleur County, and it goes till about 7:15. So it goes for about 30 more minutes or so. So again, South LaFleur County, here's some times that you can expect this tornado warned. I'm not confirmed system in your area. And you can really see it actually on the velocity, how the winds have tightened with that blue and the green. That really does indicate a potential tornado, and that's why they do have it warned.
And then the National Weather Service, looking at Polk and Scott counties, that's the same circulation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, great job. Thank you so much there, Michelle. Yeah, really rapidly tightening up here. You can see it. You can see the hook. You're getting the blues. Here's the radar to the north. Blue is moving towards the radar. Green is moving away. You get the counterclockwise circulation. And that, if we are tracking a tornado and it continues to tighten up, it looks like it's trying to produce one. That's where it's going to be, right on the county line, southern LaFleur County. We've seen already potentially a tornado move through this area. So once again, Highway 270, you're going to be under the gun. And then also Scott County could be under the gun. Michelle?
Yes, actually, that tornado warning just to the north of Waldron, I don't see any velocity, but I would still get in your safe place just in case. I just don't see any velocity or indication that it could be a tornado.
I agree. I think they're just being safe with the way the environment is this morning. Again, we've seen these storms pulse up and down. It's possible that this storm could try to tighten again. Right now, not seeing anything. Go ahead, Morgan.
But this one, just to the west of Hatfield, I definitely do see a rotation on there.
Okay, yeah, I think we can do that. Well, let's continue. We should, the way this storm is tightening up, if we can hold off on talking to him, Morgan, let's do that if we can, because this storm does continue to tighten up. It's extreme southeastern LaFleur County. I know we're in some rural areas. It's moving to the northeast. Rich Mountain 705, 711, Tin Top, Oliver 720. We're going to track this out. Ruben, Laura, I'll throw it to you guys. They've got some new information, so we're going to get that for you. We're going to continue to watch this as it moves out of LaFleur and then back possibly into Scott County.
All right, thanks a lot, Zach. We appreciate that. We want to get right to some of the damage that we've been covering all morning, but we feel like the best way to do that is to do it with the Springdale Police. We believe we've got Springdale Police Captain Jeff Taylor on the line, Laura.
Yeah, and Jeff, there's a lot of damage across the Springdale area. What have you been working with this morning?
Yeah, we've got a lot of damage throughout the area. We've noticed that there's some, obviously there's some trees down. There's a lot of debris across the roadway. We've got power lines down, several buildings that have been damaged. But luckily, we have not had any reported injuries at this point, which is a good thing. We've also got several of the intersections that are without power right now that we're having to have officers out direct traffic. So we're asking if you come across the intersection that does not have any power, and you typically do, that if you'd please just use caution when you come to that. We're trying to get our resources to those intersections as quickly as possible, and we're just assessing the damage as we go right now.
Captain, have you had an opportunity to go out to George Elementary yet and kind of see that damage? I know you guys have probably been pulled in 1,000 different directions this morning, but what have you had an opportunity to go see at this point?
Me personally, I have not been able to go out to see any of that. I'm here at the command post just trying to help allocate resources, but I know we've had officers out there. And I know it's got pretty heavy damage there. The fire department was there as well this morning. We've got Washington County Emergency Management here with us. I know the Public Works is out helping us out. The power companies, the gas companies, everybody's out doing everything they can to help make sure that we mitigate anything.
Jeff, what do you know about the Nilfisk warehouse located on East Robinson Avenue? I saw quite a bit of damage out there, too.
I know it was damaged, but to what extent, I'm not real sure.
But no injuries reported, as you said. You haven't heard of anyone hurt in any of these storm-damaged areas?
No, we have not reported any injuries. We've had several that we've went and helped get out of their house because of a tree might have blocked them or get out of a car, things like that. But we have had no reported injuries to us.
So I know you haven't had a chance to get out there yet and see it firsthand, but what are your guys in the field telling you? Kind of what's the path of this storm that went through, and is there one area that was really hit harder than the other areas?
Yeah, so the path, it started on the south end of town, kind of around Locomotion area, where we first noticed some damage, and then it kind of went northeast around the Country Club by Outback Steakhouse, and then it kept traveling northeast by Black Oak, and then the Turner and Powell area. One of the heaviest hit areas was Turner, Colorado, the Pagosa neighborhood, and then over off of Powell over by George Elementary, and then it continued towards the northeast by Springdale Airport and continued out of the city that way.
How many miles is that, just roughly, as you kind of go through that for the people at home? Kind of how long is that stretch we're talking?
I'm not exactly sure as the storm would fly, or go. I would say probably maybe 2 or 3 miles, maybe.
All right. I really appreciate that. Jeff Taylor there with the Springdale Police Department. We're going to check back in with you, Jeff, here at about 7:10. And we do want to tell our viewers this morning that we are extending 5 News this morning until 7:30 this morning, just to give you some more ideas of what we're waking up to this morning. But for now, we want to send it on over to 5 News meteorologist Zach Scott for another update of the live radar. Zach.
Yeah, this tornado, or this storm possibly trying to produce a tornado, is continuing to strengthen and wrap up here. The National Weather Service even adding with the tornado tag here, considerable damage possible as this storm continues to strengthen. These storms down here are a little bit different than the ones that we've seen up to the north. They were more associated with a line of storms moving through. They were more brief, quick spin-ups. We've got a couple more supercell type thunderstorms to the south, maybe more capable of producing stronger, more longer track storms. So that's what we're kind of watching this morning. Again, we still have the tornado warning. It's going for northwestern Waldron, Scott County to the north of Waldron. But again, some gusty winds, not seeing anything spectacular on radar. That rotation has continued to weaken. They're holding on to it for another 5 minutes. I believe at 7 a.m. it will expire and it'll disappear. But we want to continue to keep our eyes on this storm moving out of now, crossing the state line. It's moving out of LaFleur County, but it does continue to track towards Scott County. It's briefly going to move just outside the viewing area as it gets to the west of Mena, and then it's going to reemerge, if it can hold together, back into Scott County. You can see it right there. Let's go ahead. Let's go a little bit further down. Let's zoom in a little bit more on that, Michelle, if we can. I want to go to reflectivity real quick. I'll even show you. Not only do we look at the winds to kind of see that rotation or to find it, we can see it here. Just see how the rain kind of wraps around. You can see the rotation, how that ball gets going, that hook, as you're really starting to see with reflectivity. This is showing the rain falling. You can tell that that rotation is there, that storm is rapidly rotating, it's strengthening, and it's wrapping that rain around. So again, we could be seeing a strong tornado on the ground, or the storm trying to form one. When you get a chance, Michelle, let's try to get back over to the, there we go. Again, you can really see the radar to the north. Blues are stronger, or southbound or northbound. The winds in the blue are moving towards the radar. Green's moving away. A new tornado warning now, so the National Weather Service out of Little Rock jumping on, continuing the warning out of LaFleur County off towards the northeast. Michelle's got the latest track on that. Michelle, I'll let you read it off.
Yeah, so it is now, it's slowed down just a little bit, but still moving pretty fast at 55 miles per hour. It's moving to the south, northeast. Here's some updated times for you. I know Scott County, Waldron, about 7:26, so about 29 minutes or so. Rich Mountain, 7:05. So if you are in this tornado warned area, so meaning Scott County and parts of LaFleur County, get in your safe zone, because they have not confirmed a tornado just yet, but the velocity is really showing that there could be a tornado on the ground. It just, the velocity is just very tight in that system. If you're not even in that tornado warned area, you could still see very strong winds, and that's what we're kind of seeing on this velocity on here. But again, here's some updated times for you in Scott County. I know a lot of people on Facebook Live are worried about right now about Waldron. And if you're in Scott County, this storm has now developed quickly and is heading towards your area.
Yeah, and forgive me, I'm checking in on some family there where we've had, again, some of the damage in the Springdale area this morning, trying to get some reports, make sure everybody's okay. And
I can keep talking while you're doing that real quick.
And see if they have any damage. That's fine if you want to do that.
Yeah, I can check on your family. That's important. So that actually has extended for Scott County now. We also update that tornado watch that we have for now includes, let me go back and double check before I say anything. They did extend that tornado watch for Franklin, Madison, and Sebastian County till 9 o'clock. So now instead of 7, it goes until 9. So 2 more hours of this. Right now, these storms that you're seeing in Waldron, Scott County are moving into very favorable environment for it to turn quickly spin up. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. Take this off of here.
Great.
Give you another update.
Okay. And everything's good with them. They're great. She was even saying herself, it's amazing how you can be a block away or a street or 2 over, and there's all that considerable damage, and then your house, your property, untouched. And thankfully, that's how it kind of was for my family there in the Springdale area, but not for so many others this morning where, again, we likely had, seems like it, National Weather Service will go out there and confirm it. Regardless, we at least had some strong winds come through and produce a lot of damage. The southeast side of Springdale lines up with the velocity and the tornado signature we were seeing on radar, so we're watching that. That was early this morning. It's just raining across northwest Arkansas right now. We're watching this. Another tornado warning, again, moving out of LaFleur County. We've done this before. This is not a rerun. This is the same, again, area that has potentially been impacted about an hour ago from a strong thunderstorm moving through. Signature looked like it was trying to produce a strong tornado, trying to do that again. Latest couple of scans here, and I know Michelle's seeing the same thing too. It does continue to weaken a little bit. That's good news. We have to wait for every scan to come through. Waldron, this time you are included in this tornado warning. Scott County, again, under this tornado warning. There we go. Finally, 7 a.m., got rid of the old warning. That was the storm that was moving 65 miles an hour about an hour ago out of LaFleur County. Now we just have this tornado warning moving from LaFleur into Scott County. Again, we're going to watch this circulation. This one does line up a little better with Waldron, so we want to watch that as that storm moves towards you. This circulation is going to line up a little bit better for you. Dayton 736, Washburn 743. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. It kind of looks like they replaced the tornado warning with just a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll get the latest details on that. That does include you in Scott County and also into Logan County. Does not include Sebastian, Franklin, or Johnson, but these thunderstorms are heading your way. Let's go ahead and take that track off. We can go ahead. We're still watching the rotation here, hopefully weakening just to the northwest of Mena. But here's our latest strong winds. Let's watch that. Moving out of Sebastian County, southern Franklin, western Logan County. Possibility right there is where I would see maybe some damaging wind gusts trying to get going on that leading edge. Again, you're looking reds. Here's the radar site south of Fort Smith. Reds moving away from the radar, greens moving towards it. So again, could see some strong damaging winds, or at least some strong wind gusts there in western portions of Logan County. Tornado warning to the south. Can we go to reflectivity? Again, I know we focus a lot of attention on these storms, and rightfully so, but I do like to show, again, the rest of you out there, we hadn't forgot about you. We're watching you too. You're just dealing with some shower activity. Let's start across northwest Arkansas, and then we'll work our way back down to the south. Wow, that is a strong storm. We'll get back to that one in a second. All right, showers, steady rain activity across Benton County, Washington County, steady rain. Finally, we're not dealing with any of the reds. Still a noisy morning in southeastern Madison County, St. Paul. Not severe, heavy rain, some gusty winds, maybe some gusts up to 30 miles per hour possible. You continue to work back towards the south. And again, everyone's seeing this rain this morning. All of our counties are inundated with shower activity. This is a strong storm. You see it going there, Michelle? It looks like a bow echo trying to form, maybe another one of those backward seas that we've been following. So the strongest winds going to be pushing on the backside, pushing that rain out in advance. And that's what we were just showing with velocity. And you can also see it lining up with reflectivity. That's why we use all these different shots of radar to try to pinpoint and have them all line up together and find out exactly where the most intense weather is. All right, so again, we are looking off towards the southeast of Fort Smith, Van Buren. Strong storm is moving out of Sebastian County into southern Franklin. and then western portions of Logan County. Again, possibility here of some strong damaging wind gusts. We'll have to watch this storm too. It could potentially try to strengthen a little bit, tighten up a little bit, maybe rotate. We'll watch some of that moving off towards the north. And again, we're still watching the storm off towards the south. And guys, please chime in. If you've got new information, Ruben, Laura, you guys got anything you want to talk about, new video, new images? I know Tiffany's out there working hard. Chime in, and I'll let you guys get some of that new information out. Any new reports on power outages? Okay.
But we'll keep you updated.
Okay, sounds good. Continuing to see this weekend, Michelle, are you seeing the same there as it's to the northwest of Mena?
Yes, you can definitely see it weaken with the blue kind of going away. That means that, like you said, it indicates that it is weakening, which is some good news as it goes into just to the southwestern part of Scott County. So again, it goes until about 7:15. So if you are in the tornado warned area south of Logan County, Waldron, get in your safe zone because this is tornado warned and moving at 55 miles per hour. So it's slow down just a little bit, but again, it's still radar indicated, no confirmation, no damage reports just yet, but this is heading towards Waldron.
Yeah, and again, rural areas, but there are some that are out there, and we want to keep everybody safe. The rotation certainly broadening a little bit, becoming more broader. We're seeing the darker blues, not so dark, not so bright there. They're shifting a little more to the northeast. Still got some of those greens and reds on the backside, again, getting lighter. Circulation going towards Waldron. Again, safe zone, safe place, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Even if it's not producing a tornado, could be producing some strong winds. A lot of trees in this area, wet soil. You could get some strong winds just to knock a tree over onto a car, onto a house. We see that play out every spring. People are injured with trees falling on homes. Strong winds within these storms are capable of doing that. That's our strongest circulation. We're watching that. Did say we could maybe look at the latest power outage map. Maybe Ruben, Laura, you guys want to take that?
Power outage situation. So SWEPCO customers as well as Ozarks Electric customers were both dealing with several hundred, not to mention thousand outages. So let's take a look at our SWEPCO map, which we did have at one point in time more than 10,000 outages, but it looks like that number has gone down by several hundred now at just over 9,700 at this hour.
Yeah, you can see there are several different areas. One area is about 3,500, one's 2,000. So all total, it's about 8,600 people currently without power right now, according to SWEPCO in that area. And then Ozark Electric still dealing with their nearly 3,000 customers without power. Let's go back to Tiffany Lee's live shot, give you an idea of what you're seeing in George Elementary this morning. This is what the people in that neighborhood are waking up to for their school, for their kids.
Yeah, so this is at George Elementary again in Springdale, and we are being told that a lot of that damage that you're seeing is in the gymnasium area, but the Springdale School District did call off school for everybody in that district this morning because of not only storm damage, but power outages, as we were mentioning too.
Yeah, as the sun starts to come up and you get to get a better idea of just how much damage we're talking about, it looks like that roof was just pretty much displaced off of that gym area. A lot of emergency crews out there trying to assess that damage. Of course, we've spoken to the Springdale Schools PIO, Public Information Officer. You spoke with him directly, Laura.
Yeah, I've been texting with him throughout the morning, and he essentially is at the school right now assessing that damage. But I mean, there's never a good time for these storms to happen, but thank goodness kids had not gone to school yet, because this could have been a very different situation. But we were talking with Springdale Police, and Captain Jeff Taylor with Springdale Police told us that no injuries have been reported in Springdale. But we do want to take a look at a business in Springdale also heavily damaged. And now that the sun's starting to peek through, we can see this is at the Nilfisk Advanced Building on East Robinson Avenue there in Springdale.
Yeah, there's actually also some video or some pictures of a truck overturned, a semi-truck overturned at that building, just where the wind has blown it over. It's predominantly a siding building. We were looking at it online earlier to get an idea of the before and after of the damage. The docks have been kind of adjusted. The building has been damaged very heavily in that warehouse area where the wind and the those straight line winds have come through. A lot of damage to assess this morning in the Springdale area. We're talking about neighborhoods. We're talking about businesses, even the Outback. I don't know if we can take the touch screen and get to look at the Outback photo that had been posted on our Facebook. Take a look at this. This is over on 71B. This is the Outback in the 71B area in Springdale. Take a look at the damage that area has suffered as well.
Yeah, this is on Thompson, and if you take a look at that photo, you can see some uprooted trees, a lot of debris, and Jeff Taylor with Springdale Police was telling us power lines were down in that area. I'm not sure if it looks like that power line is still standing in at least that photo there, but yes, extensive damage near the Outback in Springdale.
So, Laura, we kind of tracked a little bit, and, we're not meteorologists, but we kind of took from point A to point B of where we're hearing the damage, and it looked like it's around a 3-mile stretch of damage for the storm at this point in time. Zach, does that sound about right for you guys from what we're seeing?
And, I mean, again, it also lines up with where we're seeing the power outages. It's all a bullseye there around 412, just to the north of Highway 412, southeast side of Springdale. Again, that's where we saw the best couplet signature, if you will, the tightest signature earlier this morning with the possible tornado. Again, the National Weather Service is in charge of going out, surveying the damage, and confirming the path. And then, again, we also had a severe storm in the area capable of producing damaging wind gusts, too. So, again, wouldn't be shocked if there's at least some minor damage at times, just scattered around northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, eastern Oklahoma, just because of the strong storms racing through. But some areas obviously seeing a little more considerable damage. You saw that building right there. It looks like we have a new warning coming out, starting to get some of these severe thunderstorm warnings lining up. May have another, you got to watch that one. I know that one's well south of the area right now, but another area of rotation. We'll start here in a second. I did want to finish my thought with the metal building that we just looked at. That's why you got to be in a sturdy building, a home or office building when we have these tornado warnings or even straight line winds. Again, in my career of covering storms, I've seen thunderstorms that have produced 70, 80, 90, and 100-mile-per-hour winds. So it doesn't always have to come from a tornado that can create damage. In 180 or 80 to 100-mile-per-hour straight line winds can also create that kind of damage. So that's why, whether it's a tornado warning or a thunderstorm warning, you got to take it serious. You got to get into the most interior part of the room or building that you're in. And if you can get to those sturdier buildings, the brick buildings, the concrete buildings, that's why, look, you're seeing a lot of metal damage there in that video we were just looking at. And that's because that's what you get. That's why we say that mobile homes aren't the safest. If you're in an apartment complex and we issue a tornado warning for your area, you want to get off the top floors and get more to the lower floors in the middle part. How many times have we seen the roofs blown off of buildings? Mobile home parks, not safe. The metal buildings just don't provide the kind of safety that you need. All right, we still have the tornado warning down here. It actually looks like it's cycling. You see that, Michelle? It looks like the original rotation has weakened, and now maybe a new area of rotation trying to develop to the southeast. That is textbook of a storm kind of cycling through. You get the one area to fizzle out, and then you can get the other area to kind of take over to the southeast. So area of rotation just to the south of Rich Mountain, just to the south of 270. This is heading towards the northeast. Again, this one, the last tornado warning storm went to the north, split the difference between Abbott and Waldron. This one, the circulation is going to be a lot closer to Blancett and Waldron, moving into Scott County. Storms moving 55, 65 miles per hour. So it's just south of you now. It'll be on top of you in the next 30, 45 minutes. We're going to continue to watch that. So again, we watched the one area of circulation weaken. I think we have a new area tightening up. We'll watch that. Let's look at this storm up here to the north. I want to keep my eyes on it as well. No tornado warning for it, but we do have the potential for some damaging straight line winds. Last time we checked in, Franklin County was not in the severe thunderstorm warning. It is now. And if we show you on reflectivity, there you go. There's all of our warnings. Oh, it does look like they've removed Benton and Washington counties. Again, I told you earlier, this would likely be the next couple of counties removed. Even Crawford County no longer under the tornado watch. We've got the line of storms intensifying here as they're pushing into west central Arkansas. Got the tornado warned storm. Wouldn't be shocked if there's not another tornado warning to the south with the last rotation we saw. Franklin County, heads up to you. This is working right to the east down I-40. We've got the potential for some damaging wind gusts. It's this area right in here. We want to watch this line of storms. This is also something I would keep my eye eyes on as well. And of course, me and meteorologist Michelle Trotter will do that for you. The possibility of these kind of storms could see those little brief spin ups on the front edge. So we want to watch that. So heads up to you if you're in Paris, if you're south of Clarksville, south of I-40 right now in Logan County, Franklin County, we're talking to you. You've got the potential for some damaging wind gusts, 50 to 60 miles per hour, about to work into the Paris area. So we want to continue to keep you updated. Again, we've got some thunderstorms moving into portions of Scott County, and these are going to continue to work off towards the east. This is where we're also tracking the possibility of a tornado trying to get going, and then some more severe storms off towards the south. Michelle, are we seeing anything new on NWS chat?
Nothing new, but like you've been saying, it kind of looks like it's trying to reform just a little bit. Just to the southwest of Waldron. So I'm going to go ahead and put another tracker on there for you if you're in Scott County, so you kind of know where this is headed. Let's put that to the northeast. It's moving at 55 miles per hour. So here's kind of the updated times for you. Waldron 7:34, Abbott 7:41. So it is heading into Scott County, and like Zach has been saying, it's been kind of weakening, and then it kind of pumps back up as it's been moving into Scott County. And it's perfect environment right now in Scott County. It has low wind shear, which is perfect for tornadoes to develop. And so, again, no confirmation of if it's an actual tornado, but it's radar indicated, and it really seems like on the velocity that this could be a tornado. But again, no confirmation and no damage reports just yet. But here's some times for you as it heads into Scott County. Waldron 7:34, Boonville 7:54, which is at about 45 minutes or so. We're going to go ahead and take this off, and so you can kind of just see the velocity with this.
When you get a chance, Michelle, let's switch over to and see if we can see any damage being picked up by the radar. I may even have you back it up a little bit just to see with the last circulation that was working out of, not seeing anything.
No.
Was this going back the last
15?
15. Can you go back the last 30 minutes maybe? Oh, that'll take you a second.
Here's 30.
Okay. Yeah, not really seeing anything. Impressive at times with reflectivity and velocity. We can certainly confirm to you that these storms are rotating and are capable of producing a tornado. It's early, it's rain wrapped. Again, rural areas, not a lot of eyes out there this morning to try to confirm if the tornado's on the ground, but we've already seen that the environment's capable of producing tornadoes, and may even be a little bit more capable down here across our southern zones right now than it really was earlier this morning. So again, more favorable area for a tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning is the River Valley off towards the south, a couple areas of circulation. And again, this is, we got to continue to watch that. It may continue to hold together and eventually move into Scott, Logan counties too. And we've got this area right here. So this line may, Michelle, it may just go ahead and start intensifying as it gets ready to push deeper into Arkansas. It may not really ever weaken.
It really does seem like there's trying to be a little couplet trying to form right there where they just put that severe thunderstorm warning. So have to watch for that too. Yeah.
And we'll have to watch again, maybe a little weakening. Still, that's our couplet now. So we lost the first circulation, weakened, fizzled out. Looks like the storm's trying to develop another area of circulation just to the north of Mena. Is that a new warning more focused on that?
A new tornado warning, yes.
Okay. So again, it's for this area of circulation. We've been watching it, been tracking it here for you live. And again, this area is moving off towards the northeast. This one does line up more with Waldron. The last one didn't. This one does continue to push towards Waldron. Again, racing 50, 65 miles per hour. And Michelle, go ahead and you can update everyone on the track there.
So I did do an update on the track. It's still going 55 miles per hour. Here's kind of some just new updated times for you. This one, like Zach was saying, is heading towards Waldron. So 7:35, Blanzett, 7:24, if I said that correctly, Tate, 7:46, Elm Park, 7:42. Again, this is heading towards Scott County, and we definitely should keep an eye on a couple couplets. It seems like there's couple little rotations trying to form just to the south of this. I'm going to go ahead and just take this off so you can kind of just see a more general idea of what we're talking about. Let's get this down. So right there in Cove, I definitely want to keep an eye on that, because it seems like if it does rotate, they will put a warning on that. So if you're anywhere just to the south of Scott County, I would keep an eye on the forecast and keep an eye on this, because it does seem like any second it could cause a rotation. But the main concern right now is the one right here, just to the southern part of Scott County.
Yeah, this is our area of rotation that we're currently tracking, crossing 270. Again, if you live anywhere between 270 and the county line and Waldron, safe place right now. The storms are capable of producing tornadoes today. We may have seen a few in the viewing area. It looks like we've got one area of damage, lining up with the possibility of a tornado back towards Springdale. We'll continue to watch the possibility of these storms lining up off towards the south. Let's go ahead while you're up there. Again, we have that severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin County. That's what I want to show you there, Michelle. The severe thunderstorm warning for some gusty winds. Let's zoom in a little bit closer here. We haven't forgot you off towards the north. Again, no longer under the tornado watch for Benton, Washington, and Crawford counties. But right there where we get some of those brighter pinks and reds, that's where we could see some strong wind gusts, possibly damaging wind gusts, 50 to 60 miles per hour, working right along the Logan and Sebastian County line. This is moving northeast towards Clarksville. It looks like the strongest winds as of right now will stay just to the north of Paris. And you got a little bit of an indention there, possibly trying to tighten a little bit. We have to watch that. And you can see it right there, the greens and the reds. Reds moving away from the radar to the west, north of Greenwood. And then again, we're watching the strong winds moving towards Paris. So much going on.
That one, just what we've been watching, Cove,
Yep.
you see that little rotation? They're saying with that severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado is possible.
Okay, so they're tagging it. And again, we talked about that earlier. Not just tornado warnings, not just thunderstorm warnings.
Tornado warning.
There you go. Okay. This is the National Weather Service out of Little Rock's doing this?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So again, right now the tornado, potential tornado, it's outside the viewing area. But Scott County, southeastern zones, you haven't been under a tornado warning yet this morning. You are now. If the storm holds together, and again, it could cycle through with some more rotation, so it may not specifically be that rotation, but we could see it cycle through again. It's heading your way. Here's the latest tracks with this. Potter 729, Mena 734, Acorn 739, and Waldron 754. So again, a couple areas of rotation. One is crossing into Scott County now. We've got another one down the line. We have to keep looking down the line and see if these storms are going to continue to rotate towards us. So two different tornado warnings for Scott County. One that's down towards Cove. It's off towards the south now, but these are moving 60 miles an hour, so it doesn't take long to scoot across the county. And we've got cycling again there. It's not as great, a little broad again, the circulation that's crossing the county line into southern Scott County right now. So we're tracking two potential storms capable of producing maybe brief tornadoes, quick spin-ups. We're watching those. And then let's go back one more time. Some strong winds getting ready to move. You can go ahead. You can track that out.
Okay. Really quick, I just wanted to change the time because it did speed up just a little bit. It's now 65 miles per hour. So here's the one that is heading towards Waldron. Here's the time updates. Waldron 7:34. And honestly, Waldron, be in your safe zone because there's two couplets now heading into Scott County and heading into southern part of Scott County.
Yeah, this is the third tornado warning we've seen in, the last hour here for Scott County.
Yes.
So again, that's moving off towards the north. A couple areas of rotation. They're pulsing up and down. It's going to be in and out. They're likely going to keep these tornado warnings going for a while. Let's go back up and look to the north real quick. I want to check out the strong winds crossing out of Frederick County and moving into Logan County. See that. So Paris, heads up to you. Some potential for some damaging wind gusts moving into your area right now. Again, we're watching that. I also want to continue. Let's zoom in a little bit closer there. Maybe a little area of rotation trying to get going. We'll have to see. That's right there on the county line. Yeah, you can see it. You even see how it starts to spin. See how it brings the green?
I will not be surprised if
Yeah.
You can definitely see that rotation.
And if they were going to do it, really, you should do it now because, again, these happen so quick. You can see the rotation there. Not a tornado warning. It's a severe thunderstorm warning. Do we even have the tornado tag for this warning by chance?
Let me look.
I have to look back. That's the Frederick thunderstorm warning. That's what we're watching. I'll let you look for that real quick. So, again, potentially some strong winds, some damaging wind gusts. This is being warned for 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. If those are happening and occurring with this storm, it's going to be right there north of Clarksville. And then that was Clarksville, was there? Or was that no, there's Charleston right there to Coxville. Okay, moving towards Roseville. So heads up to you. There's not official tornado warning, but I'm seeing some rotation right there, potentially some damaging winds coming into Roseville. Heads up to you. Head into your center part of your home, your office building. If you're about to head out to work, stay indoors for a couple more minutes. Let this area of rotation, these strong winds, push off towards the northeast, crossing Highway 23 to 288. This is all heading towards Coal Hill, eventually going to be close to Clarksville. This is heading off towards the northeast. Is the National Weather Service talking about it at all?
They are not, but I would not be surprised if they do. They have no severe thunderstorm warning tag on that or anything, but
okay,
we'll keep an eye on it.
Again, a little bit of rotation. You can see how it's pulling that green around. You can see that counterclockwise swirl right there. So again, potentially some damaging winds to the north of Coxville, heading towards Roseville. Maybe seeing this storm try to tighten up a little bit and produce a brief tornado. Wouldn't be out of the question. The atmosphere is conducive for it. Ruben, Laura, do we have any new information you guys have? Any new video? Anything you want to talk about? Let everybody know what's kind of going on out there?
Yeah, well, let's get people caught up on some of the damage that we have been able to see as the sun is now coming up. I know we want to keep the radar available so people can see where the track of the storm is as well. But you're taking a live look there in Springdale at the Nilfisk building.
Yeah. So this is in Springdale, where there was a tornado warning around 4:20 this morning. So Zach was live on the air during that. He was tracking some potential rotation on the radar, and it's unclear if anything officially touched down, but nonetheless, a lot of damage at this warehouse in Springdale, which we are learning is the Nilfisk Advanced Building. It's located on East Robinson Avenue, and according to a quick Google search, it's a supplier of floor cleaning equipment, and it appears to be a metal building. At least it was one on Google Maps, and you can see in this video here a semi truck tipped on its side. So I'm not sure if that was in one of the bays of the building, but nonetheless, a lot of damage there. Springdale police luckily not reporting any injuries so far.
Again, these are live images you're getting in right now as the sun is coming up. So as you're waking up this morning thinking about getting out of the house, not sure what the storm did, this is one image of what the storm did. Let's take another live look. This is going to be at George Elementary here in Springdale as well, and this is the damage that the school was dealing with. Let's take a look at Tiffany's live shot and see kind of what she was dealing with at George Elementary. Again, that's the Nilfisk building, the Nilfisk Advanced building that was really, really damaged by the tornado. All right, we're going to try to take a look at Tiffany Lee's images here in just a second. This is, again, live images you're seeing this morning as they're coming up, as the sun is coming up.
Yeah, this is George Elementary School. We do want to check in with 5 News reporter Tiffany Lee, who is there now. Tiffany, what's the latest? I know you were talking with Trent Jones with Springdale Public Schools. I'm not sure if we have her just yet, but I've been texting with Mayor Doug Sprouse, and he does tell me that George Elementary has the worst damage that they have seen so far this morning. They are surveying the area still and seeing where the damage is, but they say this area and where we just showed you that business, those places have the most damage this morning. And this is the gym, I believe, that you're looking at. And I mean, just torn up this morning.
You can see the siding and the insulation of the building there as the wind just ripped completely through that. As the sun is coming up and as people are waking up, we are getting images sent to our Facebook page and to our emails as well. People are trying to give us some ideas of what they're waking up to in their neighborhood. So we'll continue to bring you these images and updates on the damage in the area as we get them. Let's get right back to meteorologist Zach Scott and Michelle Trotter as they continue to track these severe storms.
Yeah, we do have, again, we've been tracking this storm just to the north of the tornado warnings. Let's go back to it. Severe thunderstorm warning. They've upped it now. We're looking at winds. This is the one we were just focusing on. They've upped it to severe thunderstorm warning with considerable damage possible with some straight line winds. We've gone from 60-mile-per-hour winds possible to 70-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts possible here. Again, this storm is moving right along the county line of Franklin and Logan County. The strongest winds are going to stay just to the north of you in Paris. It's still going to get breezy. You've got the thunderstorm in the area. We've got some gusts that are below severe limits, but still some strong gusts just to the southeast of Ozark, right along Highway 64. This is all moving towards you. These strong winds will be impacting I-40 in the next 30 minutes, moving off towards the northeast. How fast is it moving, Michelle? Let's see.
I'm not sure if they say. Let me double check.
But they did up it to potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds.
Yes, it's moving at 55 miles per hour.
Okay. Again, all the storms today have been 50 to 65 mile per hour. That's just the movement. And then you've got the strong winds coming out of it, so those increase some. So possibility 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds coming into the Roseville area. Heads up to you. Get away from the windows. Strong winds could pick up debris and throw those into the windows. I know it's so interesting. You want to look outside. You want to see the scene. You want to see what it looks like. The wind whipping by, the heavy rain. Heads up to you. Radar right now showing us that the strongest winds should be moving north of Paris and then off towards the northeast. Alex, 729. Edna, 741, and Batson, 745. Let's go back in a little closer right here. Again, we're still tracking the tornado warnings to the south. Circulation's weakened. This is our strongest storm right now. There's a little bit of some rotation there, but some strong winds moving into Roseville right now. Heads up to you. This is southern portions of Franklin County, right along the Logan County line. Strong winds. That's where you're seeing the pinks. So the winds are increasing as you get brighter and brighter right there. Strongest winds now just east of Highway 23 to the north of Coxville, moving into Roseville. Potential for some 60 to 70 mile per hour damaging wind gusts now moving into your small community there. And again, that's going to continue off towards the northeast. That's thunderstorm warning number 1. We've got another thunderstorm warning here for Waldron, it looks like. These are competing offices, so it's the same warning here. You've got Tulsa to the north and now Little Rock taking over with the warnings. And a couple of tornado warnings. Anything new looking?
Yes, actually, I was about to mention that right here. So I was saying for that.
This is the RDOT down in Waldron. Sorry, go ahead, Michelle. Y City?
So that couplet that we were watching, actually, they said a tornado is possible now with that one that's moving towards, what was it?
It's just south of Denning,
Coal
just
Hill.
south of Altus. Yeah.
Yes.
This is all south of Ozark. This is a live look with our RDOT tower cam down around Y City near Waldron. You're under the tornado warning. Guys, do we have, I doubt, we likely don't have any cameras up there north of Paris, do we? Well, while we're down here, nothing, the rotation's broad. You can kind of still see it there, a little bit of a notch. So that's moving to the northeast. Again, this rotation is going to pass right over Waldron. So we got to continue to watch and make sure it doesn't pulse back up, tighten back up. And then there's still some broad rotation down there to the south of Mena. That's moving towards Scott County too. So 2 tornado warnings. One's a little bit further to the south, but it's working its way closer to you. And then here's the latest warning that you just saw the times track there. Again, we want to watch this one. It's tightened up at times. South of Mena, it's going to be moving to the northeast. Our greatest concern and more imminent threat actually is probably going to be this storm. Michelle was just saying new thunderstorm warning. This includes Coal Hill. This is I-40. Here's southeastern Frederick County, Franklin County, and then here is northern portions of Logan County, and then southwestern Johnson County. We're watching the possibility of a couple of things here. Some damaging wind gusts, 60 to 70 miles per hour, moving towards Coal Hill, and then also the possibility, we've been tracking it here as it developed. Even before the National Weather Service said anything, we're saying, hey, look this, it's rotating a little bit. It's trying to tighten up. The possibility of a tornado is there as well. They're not throwing a tornado warning on it, but it could tighten up at any moment and try to produce a tornado as well. But pretty much this bow echo right here, that's where your strongest winds are. And that's going to be moving towards Coal Hill. Can we track that out to the northeast when you get a chance, Michelle? Also make sure Clarksville's in there. The way it's moving, the strongest winds may stay to the north of Clarksville. Strongest winds are staying to the north of Paris. Coal Hill is going to take a direct hit from these strong winds if they continue to hold together. Edna, 740. And again, it's Alex. It's right on your doorstep. And radar showing 725. So this is an old scan. We should get a new scan here any minute. This is what I'm saying. This is a perfect example of it takes time. The radar scans out. The data's got to come back. These pictures are a little delayed by a few minutes. So, again, it's already moving over Alex right now. We still have a couple of tornado warnings off towards the south. Rotation's broad in there. It's really weakened. Still some damaging winds possible there moving into the Mena area. That's south of the viewing area. But we're watching those winds try to come into southeastern Scott County. We'll keep our eyes on it. Rotation's weakened here in south central Scott County. Rotation's still going to be moving right over top of Waldron. And then we've got the severe thunderstorm warning to the north up there along the county line. We'll have to continue to watch that. Got a new scan now, so it should be, again, getting really close to Coal Hill. Going to see those strong winds. This is just south of I-40, so this is going to be tracking into I-40 here real soon. Strong winds possible from just east of Ozark. Strongest winds right here to the north of Roseville. If this storm is producing 70-mile-per-hour winds, that's where it is. It's going to be right there to the north of Roseville, moving towards Coal Hill. Maybe the strongest wind is going to stay just to the north of you as it crosses Highway 64, and then it's going to continue into, is this the county line right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Johnson County there. Okay. So we'll have to continue to watch that. Anything else that you're seeing? Maybe we do a reflectivity. Maybe we zoom out a little bit and kind of see how the rest of the area is looking.
Yes.
All right. again, a lot of warnings, really pulsed up here. And we were saying this too when it was back in Oklahoma. Hey, we're going to have to watch these storms. This area down here is a little more untouched. We're looking at temperatures around 4 a.m., still sitting at 70 degrees down here to the south. So warm, moisture-rich environment. Storm systems tapping into that. Trying to get a little bit more of an actual line to get going. Instead of these individual thunderstorms, just trying to get a little bit more of a squall line is what we'll call it. That's going to continue to intensify and move into the Mississippi River Valley later today. Great potential for severe weather to the southeast, southeastern Arkansas. Ruben, Laura, anything new you guys want to add? Anything new that's just into the newsroom? Feel free to jump in.
Yeah, we will. Let's get you updated on some of the damage. We did just recently get some pretty alarming information about the Nilfisk building.
Yeah, there is a major gas leak there right now in that area. This is the 412 East Robinson area. This is not far from that the George Elementary School as well. So that area is experiencing a gas leak. It has been evacuated. Our photographer, Riley, who is out there, has been told to leave that area. Very serious and dangerous situation.
Yeah, so we also want to take a look at some of these viewer videos, these images that we're getting in from you this morning. These are some of the videos that we're seeing as you guys are waking up this morning. Is this in the Brookhaven apartment area? I'm trying to figure out exactly where we're looking at. We're not sure yet. Okay, that's okay. But you can see damage on the ground.
I think it is, Ruben.
Yeah,
and that's not
like
far from where this gas leak is happening, too, at this point. So this was video from earlier. But if you are in the Brookhaven apartment area, the 412 area, in the 900 block of East Robinson Avenue, essentially, there is a major gas leak that crews are working. So we can't reiterate enough how serious that is.
Yeah, so we've seen images, seen some video like that. We've also got images from the outback in that area as well. If you go just down the track of the storm and some of the damage that the storm has done, it definitely did some damage to that area as well. There on that intersection, you can see trees overturned and just a lot of debris.
Yeah, so again, this is a picture of that outback that Ruben just mentioned. This is on 4808 Thompson. So essentially, Springdale police have told us the storm started out on the southeast side of Springdale, and then it kind of went northeast, so toward that outback, toward Black Oak Avenue, toward Turner in Colorado. And we want to check back in now with 5 News reporter Tiffany Lee, who is at George Elementary School. Tiffany, what's the situation there? I mean, this is a mess.
That's okay. Let's take a look
at guys. Yeah, like you said, Laura, it is a mess out here. You can see all of that debris right there. That is actually the roof that goes over the gym of George Elementary. So they have canceled school today for all of Springdale School District. We were talking with the communications director just a little bit ago, and he said they are taking today just to assess damage. He said so far they don't think any other schools have a lot of damage. They do know that other ones are without power, but so far this is the major signs of damage that they're seeing. But he said this is a safety day. He said they will not be doing virtual school. It will not be an AMI day because this is a day where
Yeah, it looks like we're losing a little bit of Tiffany Lee's audio, but again, she's reiterating that the school administration is saying that today is a safety day, not an AMI day, not any other type of day. It's a safety day where they can just take it and assess the damage, and there's a lot of damage to assess there.
Yeah, so Trent Jones with Springdale Public Schools has been out there at the school talking to reporters. He's been texting us here in the newsroom, and he told me, yes, all of Springdale Schools, which is the largest school district in the entire state of Arkansas, school is off today as kids need to stay home because of damage like this and also power outages in the Springdale area.
Yeah, I know we're going to hear from him here in just a couple of minutes. We also spoke to the Springdale captain, Jeff Taylor, who told us he was at the command center kind of allocating resources. It reminded us and people at home that there are power lines down at intersections, so please be careful and be cautious, and that some of those intersections will be without power. Now, I know we are going to listen to the Springdale schools, to Trent, I believe.
Trent Jones, yes.
Yeah, let's hear what he had to say.
This is quite an opportunity for us to be able to take care of our families, you know, and I think that's really what Springdale's all about, is we focus inward, we take care of each other, and so that's what we'll do today, is we'll work on making sure that our buildings are safe, we'll work on making sure our families are safe, and we'll work on making sure that our kids are in the best possible scenario.
Isn't that really just the best message, right? Make sure everybody is safe, family's safe, everybody's safe. You can replace the buildings, you can't replace the people, right?
Right.
So good message there.
Yeah, and we haven't confirmed yet whether this was just very powerful straight line winds, whether it is tornado damage, but nonetheless, it is extensive damage. And Zach started tracking that rotation in the Springdale and Johnson area around 4:20 this morning. Zach, what's the current radar looking like?
And I want to show you that. Let's go back. We did this one other time. Let's do it again. We've zoomed out here a little bit. This was at 3:50 a.m. We've got a storm that's intensifying, and then right here, let's pause it right there for a second, Michelle. You can start to see a little bit of that hook. You can see it curling. When we first started, it was very straight, right? And then all of a sudden, we start to get a little bit of that rotation, comes right over Fayetteville. Here we go. The Johnson exit's right there. There we go. Continues to, I mean, it came right there. We're right here. Station's right there. Here comes this circulation. This is when the tornado warning was issued. It tightens. It continues to tighten, and this is likely the tornado right here. So the National Weather Service goes out today. We know the damage is there. That was the tornado. It tightened as it moved over Fayetteville, really tightened over Johnson. It held off. Tornado continued to tighten form. And if it did touch the ground, and we're talking about specifically tornado damage, again, the National Weather Service will be the one that will go out and for sure say this is tornadic or this is straight line winds. This was that tornado. This lines up, guys. You were saying this, Ruben, we were talking about this a little while ago. This lines up radar right here and the velocities and the wind signature, all the data lining up where we're seeing the power outages, the heaviest. This is where the damage has been coming from. All the pictures this is where Tiffany, everybody, this is where the business is. This is where everything is. And again, chime in if you have anything, but it continued to track off towards the northeast. And that was likely the tornado, if that's officially what it was that created. This is the signature. This is why we had the tornado warning. And again, this was at 4:05 a.m. This is early. This is early. This is when you're asleep, unless your phone goes off or you're sensitive to the rain and the winds. You're asleep, and this is a populated area. We're tracking some tornado warnings down in more rural areas, but this is a populated area. This is what you kind of fear is when it moves into the heart of your viewing areas and really impacts some communities. So again, that was a look back at 3:50 to 4:10 a.m., 4:15. That's when, again, we likely had that tornado moving through the southeast side of Springdale, lining up with all the pictures and the images that we're getting this morning. All right, so they're stacking more tornado warnings. These are going to stay to the south. These are going to stay out of our area. But what we're seeing here is that we are in an environment that is even more conducive now for these brief spin-ups. We're getting a line of storms. We can show you that on reflectivity. Likely going to be another little hook coming right there. But we're getting more of a linear line of storms to get to develop. And with these lines, now you start to get those brief spin-ups. Earlier, we were tracking more individual supercells, rotating thunderstorms. Those were moving through. Now we're starting to see, again, the squall line trying to get going. You see the hooks, the kinks, the spins. Again, this is all rotating, and you can get these little brief isolated tornadoes to get going, touchdown, and then they may lift very quickly. You saw the damage we got there from Springdale. The tornado may not even been on the ground very long. We're getting about reports about a 3-mile swath. I think Ruben said earlier about area of damage that's coming in. But all these tornadoes, they're lining up. These tornado warnings are lining up, so you can get brief spin-ups there. Here is Scott County. We still do have a couple tornado warnings for Scott County. Waldron, you're still under the gun. Let's go ahead and go back to velocity. Let's get the latest look there. Again, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning. We haven't forgot you there, north of Paris in Logan County and into portions of Franklin County. Maybe a kink trying to get ready to tighten up a little bit there and move into the Scott County area. Let's go back and look at the tornado warning to the north and make sure Waldron is looking good. We've seen that rotation really weaken. I think this tornado warning is pretty much wrapping up. That one's done. Not seeing any imminent tightening or rotation. We'll still have to maybe track back to the north. Certainly some strong winds trying to set up there as you get into southern portions of Franklin County. New tornado warning there, or that's ongoing one?
They did update it, yes.
They did? Okay. And again, this is off to the south. This is all moving to the northeast, but it's basically this entire line here is capable of doing the same thing that we're seeing. Let's zoom out. Can we go look at north of Paris? Let's see what the latest on that. We've been watching this storm. There you go. If you were going to get another tornado warning, that would be the next area that you would highlight right there. This is just to the southwest of Clarksville. Strong winds. They haven't changed anything, have they?
No.
On the warning, is it still for 70-mile-per-hour winds?
Yes.
Okay. And so we could see 60 to 70-mile-per-hour winds. That's where you're seeing the pinks. And that's where you could also see those kinks, those little curlicues there. That's where you could get maybe your next rotation trying to tighten. We've seen that rotation we were watching to the southeast of Ozark. You see it kind of fizzle out. I mean, that area of spin's still there by Batson, north of I-40 now. So we're watching this. We're going to have to continue to watch that right there. That might be the next area that tries to really tighten a little bit and get us our next tornado. You want to go back to reflectivity?
Yes.
Okay. Good news is, I mean, they're there, and they're going to continue to have the possibility of spinning again and showing up with every radar scan. But right now, the storm's getting ready to move into Scott County. The rotation's weakened with at least the last couple of scans. So we're seeing these storms line up, really trying to form into a line. Tornado warnings are stacking up from just south of our area to southern portions of the viewing area, the 5 News viewing area this morning. Still 2 ongoing tornado warnings for Scott County. These storms are still nasty. You got that Boeing feature right there. You have the severe thunderstorm warning for Logan County. This one is probably for 60-mile-per-hour winds. You can see the backward sea. You've got strong winds coming in there. So you're going to have the possibility of some damaging winds. Let's go ahead and zoom in there. Trying to get everyone included. When you get all these warnings stacking on top of each other, you don't want to leave anyone out. Boonville, heads up to you. Head into your interior part of your home or your building. Some straight line winds could be moving through your area. You see the backward sea right here. Strong winds are pushing that rain out ahead. Gives us that Boeing feature. Really what it's indicating, yeah, you've got heavy rain, but you've got some strong winds embedded in that thunderstorm. So it's moving through Tate right now. It's going to continue off towards east. Waldron, Lancet, we're looking at some heavy rain. There's some rotation in there. But I don't see anything imminent right now. We'll continue to watch these storms coming out of the south into southern portions of Scott County. Let's go back to the north of Paris one more time. Again, we're also watching this storm right here. Let's go ahead and go to velocity. I heard a little bit of an update, or I heard the ding.
No update yet.
Okay, let me get this. All right, so yeah, I want to zoom in on that top storm, the one north of Paris, yeah. We'll have to continue to watch that right there south of Coal Hill. You got a little bit of some rotation right there. South of Batson, you got the potential for 60+ mile-per-hour winds right here. Coal Hill, some strong winds on the south side of you. Possibly some damaging wind gusts moving to the southeast. This is again heading towards I-40. Let's go down just a little bit more. And again, the strong winds are there north of Paris. Let's go back to the southwest. And there's our potentially strong winds, 50 to 60 mile-per-hour winds. Again, moving to the north of Tate, to the west of Boonville. Again, with these strong winds, can knock over trees, can pick up debris, throw them into the windows, get away from the windows, get away from the exterior walls, head into the interior part of your home. And again, there's a lot going on. Guys, whatever you want to do, we continue to track these tornado warnings. Is that what we're going to do? Is that the plan? We're going to stay on air while we've got the tornado warnings and continue to track these thunderstorm warnings? Okay, yeah, we're going to continue to stay on here as long as we've got these strong storms. Getting a new scan here. Certainly some rotation in there. You can see how it's kind of all hooking around a little bit, but looks like maybe a broader area of some damaging wind gusts trying to push into the Clarksville area. All right, let's go to Tiffany, but again, heads up to you west of Clarksville. We're seeing some damaging wind gusts possibly moving through the I-40 corridor. Again, this is southern portions of Johnson County. Heads up to you. Some damaging winds could be along the I-40 corridor west of Clarksville.
All right, thanks a lot, Zach. And we know you guys are going to continue to monitor those storms. Well, let's get you caught up on what we're seeing. Some of the most extensive damage so far has been at the Nilfis building and then again at George Elementary.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage. We've been in contact with the Springdale mayor, Springdale police, and also Springdale school officials. And Tiffany, what's the latest out at George Elementary on Powell Street there?
Yeah, hey guys, you can see just from looking at it right now, it's pretty crazy. The damage is pretty extensive. So all of that debris that you're seeing right now, that is actually from the roof of the gym. The gym is completely without a roof right now. There it is, right there, sitting in front of you. And Springdale School District has canceled school for all of their buildings today. They say right now they're just taking this time to check damage, see how extensive it is. And so far, Trent Jones, the communications director, we just talked to him and he said, they're not finding any other damage right now, but some schools are without power, and they just want to make sure that everyone is safe. That's what today is all about. That's why they're not having school. They won't be having virtual school or AMI days. They're just taking this time to check on their families, check on their employees, and make sure that when everyone can come back to school, they are as safe as possible. So again, he said that this is all about just checking everything out today. At this time, they haven't heard any reports of anyone being injured out here. It looks like no one was around at the time of all the damage. And so, again, he said they're just checking. They're making sure everyone's okay. And we're going to keep you updated as we learn more about this. And he said later they will have a report, and he'll tell us as soon as they find out. Back to y'all.
If we could leave Tiffany's shot up for a minute, that'd be great. Just so the people at home can just get an idea of what kind of damage you're talking about to this elementary this morning. Tiffany, you've been there all morning. Going from when you first got there and maybe the sun was down, you couldn't see how bad the damage was. What is the difference when the sun comes up and you can actually see how bad it is out there?
Yeah, guys, it's pretty crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. And, you know, I've been reporting for 2.5 years. I've seen a lot of tornado damage. But to see a roof just completely taken off of a school building like this, it looked bad when it was dark and we had lights shining on it. But once you see it in the light, it really just kind of makes you realize how bad this damage is. And it's kind of crazy and a miracle, honestly, that no one was hurt at the time. And that's one thing that they're saying. They're just very grateful that no one was here at the time and that it could have been a lot worse. And so, yeah, I mean, just looking at it, I'm sure over camera y'all can't even see how bad it actually is. But it's so tall. It's huge. And people are just kind of standing here and they're taking a look back and they're like, wow, like, what do we do from here? And Trent says that working for the school district, this is the worst damage he's ever seen. And so it's kind of just taking it all in right now and figuring out the next best move to keep everyone safe.
Tiffany, and earlier this morning, we had you out in a neighborhood pretty close to this school at the Brookhaven Apartments. And what was your drive like from there to this school? Were there a lot of power lines down? Was there debris in the roads?
Yeah, by the time that we were heading to the school, it wasn't as bad. But when we were heading to those apartments before the school, there were power lines down. There were trees. I mean, at one point, we drove up on a power line. You couldn't even see it. And it was crazy. And traffic was kind of backed up. They had responders out when we were heading here. So thankfully it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as extensive, but it's just been a crazy sight to see all morning. And hopefully everyone's been able to stay safe and just stay alert because it is pretty crazy. And you definitely need to be mindful when you're driving because there's still damage, there's still power lines, and there's only so many people to get out there and take care of it all.
All right, thanks a lot, Tiffany. Really appreciate your reporting this morning. You've been out there all morning long trying to get everybody the latest information. Let's take a look at some of the viewer video and pictures we've been seeing this morning, Laura.
Yeah, so this was the neighborhood that Tiffany was in earlier this morning. This was outside the Brookhaven Apartments. There are some duplexes out there, and this is the area of damage where it seems to be hit the worst. This is also on Powell Street, not far from George Elementary School there.
Yeah, we were able to see some live pictures this morning when the damage first happened. You could see that part of the siding was off some of the buildings, off some of the houses. There was mud splattered all across all of the vehicles in the driveways as that storm had just ripped through that area. Let's take a look at an RDOT map and an RDOT camera rather, and just kind of get you caught up on what we're seeing. This is where say it to me again one more time.
This is Y City in Scott County. So this is south of Waldron is where you're looking right now. And you can see the rain not coming down so heavily, but sometimes when it gets calm like this is when it's also a bit scary. So meteorologist Zach Scott has been taking live looks at the radar all morning long. Zach, what's the latest with this tornado warning there in Scott County?
Yeah, it's trying to maybe cycle back through. We're watching that. We've got other thunderstorm warnings to the north that they're maybe trying to tighten up as well. Again, here's the picture. Showers and thunderstorms to the north. We've got the severe weather from portions of Johnson County all the way back down towards Logan and Scott County. Let's start with our northern storm. Well, while you're zoomed out here a little bit, we're basically looking at three different storms here. You've got the storm here north of Clarksville. You've got this storm here to the west of Paris. And then we're watching this storm coming in from our northeastern zones. They've likely just done a little update with that tornado warning storm. We'll start here. There's a storm to the north that I want to keep our eyes on too. Again, so we're seeing that little hook right there. That's where if we're going to get another tornado, that's where we're likely seeing it try to tighten up. So it's happening very quickly here. This is south of Waldron. This is going to be moving off towards the northeast. Let's go ahead, go back over to velocity and try to see if we can see it. It's tightening up right there. Again, it doesn't have to look like much on radar. We showed you the one earlier today. Didn't look like a whole bunch there as it went through Springdale, but it still, again, produced what looks to be at least a significant tornado in some parts of northwest Arkansas. That's what we're watching. That's what the tornado warning's for. It's in central portions of Scott County. You got another storm right here to the west of Paris, producing some potential for some damaging wind gusts. And then maybe here in just the last few frames, me and Michelle have been watching this, talked about about it. Again, this storm's been producing some strong winds. It's been trying to tighten up. It looks like it's doing so. We may have a tornado trying to get going there just to the north of Clarksville. This is just passed over I-40. Michelle, are they saying anything on chat? If there's a tornado or a funnel, anything trying to get going, it's going to be right there to the southeast of Batson. This is Johnson County pushing off towards the northeast. Michelle?
Word of tornado on that, but they just keep saying strong winds.
Strong winds. Okay, so they're not saying anything, but the possibility of some strong winds, maybe 60, 70 mile per hour winds also right there where we're getting the brighter pinks. So the strong winds have just crossed to the north of I-40. This is Johnson County heading off towards the northeast, north of Clarksville. You're getting some breezy winds. You're getting some rain, some lightning there, but the strongest winds are just to the north of you. We're watching that rotation. Again, at times we've had the tornado tag with some of these storms, meaning that we'll have to continue to watch the rotations tightening up, but we definitely want to keep our eyes on these couple of scans there. Here's the potential for some damaging winds. You can see that bowing feature. You see the reds getting brighter. This is just to the east of Boonville. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for Logan County. This storm's moving about 50 to 65 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and do this. Can you put one of these squall line tracks on that? Let's go ahead and do 55 miles per hour. We'll pause it out. We'll take it. If you want to maybe have to redraw that. Sometimes it can be a little sticky. Oh, you're fine. It can be a little sticky sometimes. We'll try to take it, and then we'll take it out to the northeast towards Shoal Creek, and then off towards, yeah, that looks good. Paris, 801, Subiaco, 809, Sand Ridge, 814, Shoal Creek, 822. We're watching the possibility of some damaging straight line winds. Again, this is why we put that wind threat up there, too. Tornadoes can be very isolated. They can cause a lot of damage, again, right? But then sometimes these straight line wind events, they can really spread out and impact more areas at once. So that's why we take them just as serious as a tornado warning, because you could get those strong winds just to the north of Magazine, rolling off towards the east, possibility of 60+ mile per hour winds there. Yes?
They just issued a tornado warning for that storm.
Okay, there you go. This is why we've been watching it. Again, watching that rotation tightening up. So possible tornado forming. Could have a tornado already on the ground. We don't have any confirmation of that. It's just to the north of Clarksville. Let's go ahead and put a track on the circulation, take it to the northeast. Let's see how fast it's moving.
It did slow down a little bit. It's now moving 35 miles per hour. So I'm going to change that. And then here's the new timeline.
Again, this is only 8 miles northwest of Clarksville. It's very close to you in Clarksville. If you live around Clarksville to the north, be in your tornado safe place. As many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, a lot of trees around here. There's strong winds in this storm. Trees can be knocked over on the house, even if there's not a tornado that makes a direct hit. You got to get as much between you and the outside as possible, right? Again, grab some tennis shoes. If we see any damage like what we saw earlier this morning, and once you have to get out, there's nails, there's debris, there's wood, there's so many things that can hurt you still. Grab some tennis shoes. People forget to do that. I know there's a lot going on in your mind. Grab some tennis shoes so you can be prepared to walk around afterwards. Grab some blankets, some towels, put as much on top of you as you can to give you some cushion. Worst case scenario, you do get a direct hit by strong winds or a tornado. You can try to get as much between you and the outside as possible. If we're seeing a tornado just north of Interstate 40 to the northwest of Clarksville, only about 8 miles, very close. This is moving off towards the northeast, heads up to Garber, 809, Dillon, 826, Deer, 833, Alerton, 839. This is our newest tornado warning. We've had a handful this morning. This is for Johnson County, moving to the northeast pretty rapidly at around 35 miles per hour. Newest signature, it still looks pretty tight there. Where are we at? 850. So we should be getting a new scan now here in the next couple of minutes.
And this does go till an 8:15, by the way.
8:15?
Yes.
Okay. So tornado warning, Johnson County till 8:15. To the north, this county is just, so this is Madison County with Boston right here. I believe, yeah, so that's Madison County. And then once it gets out of Johnson County, it starts to exit our area. We want to watch that. Yeah, tornado. We were watching it as it was, kept our eyes on that storm. It was trying to tighten up, kept trying to tighten up. And sure enough, it's done that. We could see from Johnson County all the way back down through Scott County we could see these little areas of rotation really any moment for the next hour or so. This storm to the south of Paris, it could continue. It's the same environment that we're seeing to the north, same environment prompting all the warnings to the south. A lot of spin here, strong storms. This is the area that's most conducive to producing some tornadoes. So again, let's not let our guard down with the storm in Logan County. Threat for some damaging winds right now, but also could see it try to tighten up and spin a little bit. Anything new?
Nothing new.
Okay.
But with that storm that's tornado warned, there could see hail up to about an inch. So that's quarter size.
Okay, yeah, so some small hailstones up to around the size of quarters. That's certainly possible. Here's Fort Smith, here's Van Buren. You're in the clear right now. This is, again, Clarksville, downtown. This storm's to the north of you. We're getting a new scan in. Looks like it's going to be right there. If we're getting a tornado, it's right there. Can we look at the CC, see if we can, if it's touched down, if it's picked up any debris? Again, if you're just joining us this morning, we've talked about it before, but I mean, there you go. We may have a debris signature right there. So we could, it looks like we may have a tornado on the ground just to the north of Clarksville. So serious situation. Let's go back to velocity, see if it lines up. I'll leave my finger right there.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty close. And again, you're just getting a little bit of a delay with the radars here. But that's where we will likely be seeing a tornado, could be seeing some debris. Also, with the tilted updraft, the debris gets picked up and it can be thrown out ahead of the storm. So that's probably what you're seeing. So it looks like we have a tornado potentially on the ground here north of Clarksville, not just radar indicated, but using the products that the radar has to offer. Now, again, technology has gotten a lot better the last few years. We don't just have to go based off the winds and the hook echo, and we don't have to wait for storm spotters. We can use this correlation coefficient, which shows us things in the air that are not typical precipitation. They're not circular round drops. They're not hailstones. It's starting to pick up on saying, hey, this isn't normal. And what it's picking up on is the potential for some trees, the homes, buildings, things of that nature. So not typical precipitation. So we could be seeing a tornado on the ground. So this is a serious situation for Garber. This is in central Johnson County, moving to the northeast. We're going to continue to track this. Heads up to you. You got to be in your safe place right now. If you live anywhere north of Clarksville, north of I-40 in Johnson County, it looks like we could have a tornado on the ground. There's a new thunderstorm warning to go with it. Again, also capable of producing some damaging wind gusts. Any new chatter coming in?
Nothing new on the chat.
Okay. I mean, again, it's so early. It's where you do love when you are in a situation where you can have some spotters out there. You can get that ground truth. You like to add that in, but right now we just don't have it. Let's go back to the CC and see if we can see that potential
So
debris.
they do have an RDOT camera down there if you wanted to show that real quick.
Is that just from the Clarksville area looking to the north?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Let's take it. So this is, I'm assuming, looking off to the north. I mean, and again, if there's a tornado out there, it's probably rain wrapped. I mean, there's a good chance you may not even be able to see it. You just kind of an eerie scene there, right? The breezy conditions, the rain coming down. Again, this is, do we know exactly where this is by chance? Right between Clarksville and Jasper. Let's go back to radar and, okay. So there's Jasper, there's Clarksville. Here's our storm. This is where we could be seeing that tornado, even right there. Let's go back and see if the CC lines up where we're seeing that little yellow spot there. Give you a second to do that.
There you go.
Let's get in a little bit closer if we can. And then go back to velocity, see if we can get them to kind of line up together. If we're seeing it, this looks like, and you agree, Michelle, this looks like a debris signature showing up right there.
Yes, I do agree.
Okay, this is north of Clarksville. Again, we're using radar technology to show us debris possibly being lofted up by a tornado on the ground to the north of Clarksville, maybe 10 miles to the north. There's the area of rotation. A little bit of a delayed look here. Again, it's you can see the timestamp in the bottom of the corner, 7:59. Radar still a little behind. Our next scan will be coming in shortly, but 7:55. So with the next scan, it's going to be further to the northeast. So you don't have time to waste. You got to go ahead and head to your tornado safe place right now. I know some rural areas, there's houses, there's people scattered out here, there's people commuting around. Heads up to you, if you're one of those living out in north of Clarksville, or you're about to head that way, again, hold off. We've got a possible, what is likely a tornado on the ground moving off towards the northeast. And again, we're getting what looks to be a debris ball, a debris signature, even on reflectivity. Let's go back to that. Kind of hold my finger right in here.
Going.
You're fine. I know there's a lot to
There you
click
go.
through. You're doing a great job. That's where we're probably seeing a little debris ball right there too, where the reflectivity kind of fades out a little bit. That's where your tornado probably is right there. So if tornado's still on the ground, it's rain wrapped. So you're not even going to be able to see it. It's going to be just a gray scene out there. But that's likely your tornado probably right there, getting ready to cross, if not already crossing Highway 21. Yep. So still looking at the signature. Moving towards the northeast, Gillian Settlement, Ferris Springs, again, rural areas, but for anybody that's out there, heads up to you. We're talking to you specifically in Johnson County. Tornado possibly on the ground. Looks like it. We haven't got confirmation from any spotters or emergency management or any police officers or officials, but everything on radar showing that we certainly have a really high chance of a tornado being on the ground. Maybe it was brief. Maybe it was up and down, pulsing up and down. But it's heading off towards the northeast. Rotation's going to go right towards Garber. So again, 810 right now. That storm is approaching your area. If the tornado's still on the ground, you got to get to your safe place. Again, you want a sturdy structure. You don't want these metal buildings like we've already showed you how easily they can be torn apart. You got to be in a sturdy structure, and you got to do it now, especially if you're in north central Johnson County. We're tracking that storm moving off towards the northeast. Again, likely a tornado on the ground in north central Johnson County, kind of putting that loop there. Let's go back to CC, the correlation coefficient again, if we can. And again, what we're trying to find here with this product, trying to see if that debris signature is still there. We can even put that in motion once you get over there, Michelle. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much this morning. Let's back it up a little bit. And again, you'll see it kind of pop up right there. So that's where we could have seen the tornado touch down, picks up some debris. You get the higher signature, and then maybe it looks like maybe the tornado's lifted a little bit. You still can get some of that debris lofted out and out ahead of the storm. But yeah, it certainly looks like a debris signature was right there north of Clarksville. Tornado warning again for Johnson County. This goes until when, Michelle?
8:15.
Okay. We're going to continue tracking this storm. Anything else off towards the south?
They did issue a new severe thunderstorm warning for just the eastern part of Scott County due to the winds.
Okay. Let's go back to velocity and look at the storm real quick in Paris. Again, we may have a tornado on the ground in north central portions of Johnson County, possibly weakening a little bit. We've got some strong winds coming into Paris. We got to watch these storms just as quick as this one went tornado warned. Apologies there. We could easily see any of these other storms doing that. Let's zoom in real quick on Paris. Are they doing an update on the tornado warning there? Looks like maybe they were just trimming it back a little bit.
They were just updating it, but it still goes to 8:15.
Okay. All right. And where are we at right now? We're at almost 8:05. All right. So it looks like it's broad. It's not as close. We're not seeing those greens and those pinks right next to each other. So a little broad. Maybe the storm is weakened. Looks like maybe the tornado is lifted, but we could still see that storm cycle through. All right, now let's go south of Clarksville. Let's go look in Logan County. All right, we got to watch that right there. That would be your next one. If this one continues to tighten up, that would be your next tornado right there, potentially trying to get going southeast of Paris. You can see that. You see that curve. You see that bend. That's also the possibility of 60-plus mile-per-hour winds. So you got damaging straight-line winds. That's one aspect of the storm we're looking at. And then on the southern end, we've got a couplet trying to tighten up. So that would be your next tornado warning right there, southeast of Paris. This is going to be tracking to the northeast as well. So Clarksville, you just missed the potential tornado to the north of you. Now we've got another severe storm to the south of you. Could get some damaging winds coming into you. We'll watch this circulation and how it continues to work off towards the northeast. Paris, hang out in your homes, in your office buildings, wherever you're at. Hang out right there. The storm is passing off towards the northeast. Do we have anything else down to the south coming in? It's just one storm after the other, isn't it, Michelle? We're getting one storm to move in, then we're getting another one to move in. Let's see. What does Scott County look like? Currently, no tornado warnings. Feels like the first time in a while, no tornado warnings. We're watching the possibility of some gusty winds, maybe a little notch trying to get going right there. Okay, so we're going to have to continue to watch that one too. That would be the next one. Some gusty winds, being warned for up to 60 miles per hour, I believe. Let's see, thunderstorm warning for Logan County, 1-inch hail, and 60 mile per hour winds, yeah. Could get some 40 to 50 mile per hour winds at least, it looks like. But those are your strong winds pushing into the eastern half there. Okay. And then we're tracking this storm in Paris. This is Logan County. possibility of trying to tighten there. And then we've got the tornado warning. Let's go ahead and go back up there to Johnson County, and we'll continue to track this tornado warning. We've already had what looked like a debris signature showing up on radar. Pretty tight couplet. Looks like it's broadened a little bit. We'll have to watch it. The entire storm's rotating. Still some circulation right there, moving off towards the northeast. Maybe trying to develop, maybe cycle through. Maybe we're losing that circulation, and we might try to get another one to get going there. Some strong winds. Again, outside of this tornado warning here in the yellow polygon, you have the potential for 60+ mile-per-hour winds. So that's where you could get some of those damaging straight-line winds as well. I really don't like having to wait on these scans. You're sitting here just waiting and anticipating the next scan. Is it going to show it tightening? Is it going to show it weakening? What is it going to do? And that's what we have to do. We just have to sit here and wait, and that's what we're doing. Again, safe place if you're in Ferris Spring. If you live anywhere, Highway 21, near Highway 21 in Johnson County. Garber, you already need to be in your safe place now, as again, you could have a potential tornado moving over you, some strong damaging winds. Looks like this storm is certainly capable of producing a tornado, may already have. This is heading off towards the northeast. Let's look at northeastern Johnson County. I know we're getting into some remote areas, but again, let's zoom in here and just kind of see what towns pop up. Again, Dillon, Rosetta, Garber. Again, heads up to everyone. Highway 123, if you live along there, strong thunderstorm, dangerous thunderstorm moving your way. Damaging wind gusts, quarter-size hail, a lot of lightning, heavy blinding rainfall, and possibly not only some damaging winds, but a tornado may try to get going as well. And this is going to be moving, once it gets out of Johnson County, be moving out of our area towards Limestone, 825. Deer coming in at 833. Alerting around 840. Ruben, Laura, anything new that you guys would like to add? Anything coming in? We've been just getting so much footage coming in.
Oh, I know. You guys have been wall to wall with this coverage, and great job, Zach. I mean, we can definitely give you a little bit of relief and kind of recap the storm damage that we know about. But as far as the rotation you're tracking, certainly some pertinent information. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have if we have any shots up right now and available right now, but we do know that we have viewer video that's been sent in. This is the live shot that we've been using all morning long at the George Elementary there in Springdale. As you see the workers. As you see, the workers are out there. Tiffany Lee has been out there live with us all morning long and joins us now. Hey, Tiffany, what's happening out there right now as people are waking up and getting out to the scene?
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. We're here at George Elementary in Springdale right now, where, as you can see, there are a lot of workers out here right now. They've assessed the damage. You can see it. It's pretty crazy right in front of you. So all of that debris right there, that's actually off of the roof of the gymnasium. Because of that, they've canceled school today for all the Springdale school districts, because with damage being so bad here, they want to make sure that it's not like that at other schools. There are a few without power, but so far they haven't seen any extensive damage, according to Trent Jones, the communications director we just spoke to. But he did tell us that they are taking this time and this day to just make sure that everyone is safe. Because of that, there will be no virtual school, no AMI days. They're going to be checking on their families, their employees, and making sure that everyone is okay. And if there's anything that they can do to help, they will be doing that. So right now, crews, they're out here, they're assessing the damage. They're trying to figure out what they can do, because, I mean, even if everyone is okay, the chances of them meeting back here, for school later, it's not looking likely. And so they're trying to figure out the best ways to do this, the best ways to keep everyone safe, and everyone, all parents, all students, while you may want to come up to the school and see the damage, please stay away while they're trying to figure all this out, because they want you to stay safe, and they just need all hands on deck here, and they don't need to be worrying about what people are doing around and the things that they could get themselves into.
Yeah, obviously there could be down power lines in that area. Obviously a lot of debris, wood, nails, you name it, for people to potentially injure themselves. So it makes sense to ask people to stay away.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, thank goodness children were not at school when this all happened. So this was a tornado-warned storm that happened around 4:20 this morning, and Zach was tracking rotation on the radar. So that's not the only place damage in Springdale. If we take you further along, you can see this is video from earlier this morning at the Nilfisk plant, which certainly it's a warehouse, we're understanding, and a lot of damage there if the building's not completely destroyed, but we're still working to confirm that. But there's also a gas leak that crews are working in that area too.
Yeah, so the gas leak got so bad that they even asked our crews to leave the scene, to evacuate the scene so that they could, stay safe. You could see there was a semi blown over on its side. The siding and the walls of the warehouse were completely removed. There's all of the damage and debris. You could just tell that it had been hit extremely hard by the winds. Again, we have not been able to confirm whether or not it was an actual tornado. That is something for the National Weather Service to officially confirm. You can see the side of that semi turned over right there on the side of your picture right there. But we definitely some strong winds and a definitely strong storm that has gone through the area all through that Springdale. About a 3-mile track is kind of what we looked at, Pat.
Yeah, and this is a warehouse. It looks like it's in a pretty industrial area, but it's on Robinson Avenue, also known as 412, which is a heavily traveled area. And so just south of there is the Brookhaven Apartments. And so we are learning that people in this general area are being told to leave the area, to evacuate that area because of this major gas leak. So we're going to take some more video of some damage that people are waking up to this morning. But just keep in mind, if you're in that general area, George Junior High School, not far from, that's further south of those Brookhaven Apartments. But this is essentially between 412 and Don Tyson is where you're looking at.
Yeah, so this is some video of the area, the neighborhood that we were talking about, the Brookhaven neighborhood. Look, take a look. If you haven't seen some of this video this morning, you're just getting up and getting around. Take a look at what some of your neighbors are dealing with as they wake up this morning. You're talking about damage to their homes. The roads are covered in debris. Power lines are down. The cars and vehicles covered in mud and other debris as the winds and the rains just ripped through that neighborhood. A lot to wake up to and a lot to unpack this morning. A lot of people, Tiffany Lee telling us earlier this morning that she was seeing people out in the streets trying to get their belongings back together and clean as much up as they could while they had a small break in the rain because the rain just continued to come down. We still have power outages to talk about, Laura. We've been talking about power outages this morning as well. This storm comes through and knocks out a lot of power in the area.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the latest power outage maps, but both Ozarks Electric customers as well as SWEPCO customers are being impacted by power outages. It looks like a lot of the Ozarks Electric customers have gotten the power restored. It looks like only 245 people in the Springdale area who are Ozarks Electric customers are without power, but SWEPCO customers, there are still more than 8,000 power outages in the general area, not far from the Springdale Municipal Airport are where a lot of these outages are confined, but essentially in the Washington County and maybe some parts of Benton County, but mostly this is confined to Washington County.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit for them to get that all put together as they survey some of the damage. We also have been getting viewer videos and pictures in from people as they were getting up and getting around at just some of the different areas of damage. This is damage in Springdale off of Highway 412. You can see that there was a truck turned on its side. Look at the siding and the metal just completely mangled almost. I hate to use that word because it's such a dramatic word, but completely twisted and turned around. Obviously, a lot of damage. Continue to send us those videos and pictures. We want to get as great of a picture as we can of how much damage was happening in the area.
Yeah, we've been talking with Springdale police throughout the morning. We've been talking with Springdale's mayor. We've been talking with officials with the school district. And so basically what we're learning is the storm there in Springdale essentially started on the southeast side of town. It went to northeast part of town, but it went toward the Outback. So we got some photos earlier of the Outback Steakhouse, which is on Thompson, and it's very heavily damaged there, to Black Oak Avenue, Turner, Colorado, basically 3 miles down 412, just damaged like this.
Yeah, and as the sun comes up, we may find that stretch is a little longer than 3 miles. I mean, there may be people that are just now waking up to realize how much damage is in their area. Again, we're just trying to get you caught up. That's the Outback that Laura mentioned just a couple of minutes ago there on Thompson. Again, damaged in that area as well. A lot of damage to report and a lot more storms still to keep track of. Let's take it back to meteorologist Zach Scott and Michelle Trotter. They've been tracking this stuff all morning long, doing a great job keeping everybody informed. What's the latest on the radar?
Yeah, again, we still have the tornado warning. The storm is starting to shift out of Johnson County, so it is exiting our area. We'll continue to stay with you as long as we have the warning for Johnson County. Still the possibility of some rotation, some damaging wind gusts, heavy rainfall. Again, that's Johnson County. We have the potential for wind gusts possibly embedded in there, 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. So we have to, again, continue to track this storm. possibly had a tornado on the ground. We were getting some of the debris signatures showing up there. This storm may have produced a tornado briefly, and a strong one as it was north of Clarksville. All right, so again, we'll continue to look for the updates here and see what the National Weather Service is planning on doing with these watches. Okay.
They actually just expired it.
Okay.
It just hasn't disappeared on the map yet.
All right, so it is moving. We've seen the weakening of the rotation. And again, we were watching it before we had the warning. Spotted that area of rotation trying to tighten. And now it could tighten again as it moves out of our area. So no longer a tornado warning there. It looks like even the strongest winds are exiting northeastern Johnson County. We have a couple more severe thunderstorms to the south. And again, trying to tighten. You get a couple areas there in extreme eastern Scott County. Strong winds moving through Gravely, and we could see another little tightening of the rotation there, about to exit to the east, and then also in extreme northeastern portions of Scott County, trying to tighten up a little bit there. Currently, no tornado warnings. It has been a while since we did not have any tornado warnings across the area. We have shaved off some of the counties in the tornado watch. Bentonville, you're in the clear. Fayetteville, even down towards Van Buren, north of the river there. In Crawford County, clear. Carroll counties out of the mix as well. We're tracking the tornado watch continuing. When does that go, Michelle? 9 a.m.?
9 a.m.
9 a.m. for portions of or all of Sebastian, Scott, Logan, Franklin, Johnson, still there. The severe threat is shifting east of you, Madison County, but you're still hanging on to that tornado watch. We have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. Probably the strongest storm right now is in central portions of Logan County. Again, that is moving towards Clarksville. You can see that thunderstorm right there. It's got that bow shape to it, so we're looking at that bow echo moving into Clarksville. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. Look at that intense line. I know I got you going everywhere, but again, that's what you call a squall line, racing eastward towards Mount Ida. It's about to exit Scott County. You guys need a break. You're about to get one. But you see those little indentions. You get the strong winds bowing out there, and then you can also get those little brief tornadoes in there mixed in. What a combination. There you go. That's really the strongest storm left in really in the heart of the viewing area. Moving into Clarksville, that's where we could see 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Let's go ahead, zoom in a little bit tighter there, and I'll let you get the better velocity going as well. And then I'll pull up some updates to try to see if we have any new confirmation on anything that's out. Let's see. But again, no tornado warnings. That's good news. But we're still dealing with the possibility, and it's even weakened some here. See how we lost some of those more well-defined, brighter pinks? That's that potential for damaging wind gusts. So straight line winds splitting Coal Hill and Scranton, pushing northeast into Highway 64 and crossing I-40. Those strong winds are just to the west of Clarksville. Still 50, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts could be embedded in there. So we're watching that as that continues to push off towards the northeast into Johnson County. Still that threat for some damaging wind gusts in there. Anything new?
Nothing new, but it really looks like those little couplets are trying to rotate. So something to keep an eye on for.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's textbook squall line down there where you get the brief tornadoes to mix in. And that's why you can see even the little curves. You got one there at the southern end of the county, curving back, counterclockwise swirl right there, and then another one right there in southeastern Logan and northeastern Scott County. Okay. We'll continue to track these storms. Guys, anything else? Master Control, let me know. Laura, Ruben, you got some new updates for us?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get everybody caught up on some of the damage as some of the tornado warnings have expired now. Let's get everybody kind of caught up on what damage, kind of the aftermath, so to speak, as the storm has gone through the area.
Yeah, maybe you're just now joining us, but we've been live on the air since about 4:20 this morning as the tornado warnings essentially started in Benton and Washington counties and then moved northeast to Carroll and Madison counties. But this is Springdale where we are seeing the most damage, and this is the Nilfisk Advanced Business, which is located on 412, I believe, on East Robinson Avenue. And so this is where a lot of that damage is confined this morning. And we also learned of a major gas leak in that area. So that area was actually evacuated not too long ago.
Yeah, this was one of the first areas we went to. We went to a neighborhood and then we went here because we had heard about the extensive damage. And the pictures kind of speak for themselves. The metal siding is completely taken off of the building. You can't even really see the frame of where the building is. You can see right there that those are some of the docks and the bays where the trucks sit. And there's a semi truck overturned on its side right there. So we've been able to continue to monitor this situation, but then this is just a little bit further down the road, Laura.
Yeah, this is on Powell Street, also where they're seeing a lot of damage in Springdale. This is a neighborhood there, and you can see the video is dark, but down power lines, lots of debris on the ground, some twisted pieces of debris. People's cars and homes are damaged in that neighborhood this morning.
Yeah, and that's not the only area that's being damaged. We've been seeing it from the business to the neighborhoods. These are some viewer videos and viewer photos that have been sent in to us on our Facebook and our Near Me app. You could just, look at some of the damage that people are waking up. Imagine waking up this morning, you heard some rumbling, but you didn't realize exactly what happened in your neighborhood. Trees uprooted, homes damaged, if not destroyed in some ways, roofs taken off of buildings.
Yeah, and whatever that FedEx trailer
truck,
tipped on its side, so not exactly sure what that was, but my goodness, just lots of mangled debris this morning there on the ground in Springdale. And we talked with Springdale police, we talked with the Springdale mayor, we talked with the Springdale school district, who did end up canceling class today for everyone in that school district. It is the biggest district in the state, but this is the Brookhaven apartments there, and you can just see what people woke up to this morning. And thank goodness kids were not in school.
Yeah, this was our first stop in the morning. We had heard there was damage in the area. We sent a crew out. Tiffany Lee and crew were out there, and they got these images early this morning to get you an idea of exactly how extensive some of the damage was. We did actually speak with Captain Jeff Taylor, as Laura just mentioned, with Springdale Police, and he kind of gave us the track of the damage that they were getting reports on at this point, about a 3-mile track that they were able to get reports on. He also mentioned that several other agencies were already assisting with some of the damage and some of the recovery efforts, as far as like cleaning up some of the buildings and cleaning up some of the debris. So a lot of people putting all hands on deck to make this thing get right faster.
Now, this is the current power outage map right now from SWEPCO, by the way. So you can see more than 8,000 people are still without power right now. And the storm's path essentially started in the southeast side of Springdale, and then it moved northeast. So we're talking Thompson, we're talking Black Oak Avenue, we're talking Turner and Colorado. So where we're learning the most damage that the Springdale mayor says he knows of right now is at George Elementary School. So we're going to check it back in with 5 News reporter Tiffany Lee, who is live there now. Tiffany.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. We're here at George Elementary, where he said this is some of the most extensive damage that we're seeing. That big pile of debris that you're seeing right now, that's actually the roof of the gymnasium of the elementary school. And so because of that, like you said, they have canceled school today. And we had the chance to talk to the communications director, who tells us that today is all about making sure that the students, the staff, everyone is safe. They said that they're taking this day to cancel school, go check out all the other schools, check on their families, and that's what they're going to be doing throughout the day. They said so far they haven't heard of any injuries that have been reported from this, which is a miracle when you look at this. To see it in person is crazy. This pile of debris is so high. You can see just parts of the roof, like the structure, that were completely blown away and moved across that little area, like a little ravine, into that spot over there. Parts of the playgrounds, they're messed up. Swings, they're all twisted up. It's a crazy sight, and it's a miracle that no kids were here at that time. Yeah. And so we had to talk to Trent Jones, and like we said, he said today is about safety, and they'll be out here throughout the day and as long as they need to be for the next few days.
This is quite an opportunity for us to be able to take care of our families, and I think that's really what Springdale's all about, is we focus inward, we take care of each other, and so that's what we'll do today, is we'll work on making sure that our buildings are safe, we'll work on making sure our families are safe, and we'll work on making sure that our kids are in the best possible scenario.
Yeah, so important there.
Hey, Tiffany, if you're still with us, can you guys pan a little bit to the side? Is there a home next to the school that has part of its roof ripped off? Is that? Have you been able to see that? I can see the school building there, but I felt like earlier this morning we took a picture and you could kind of see a home. Keep going, right there. Is that a home in the background, or is that part of the school?
Yeah, it looks like that's a home in the background where part of the roof is missing. And this is kind of like that neighborhood right there. That's pretty much where we were this morning. The school is right down the road from that. And so now that it's light outside, we're seeing the damage not only to the school, but to the homes as well. So everyone in this area it's just kind of devastated the area. It's a pretty crazy sight to see.
Yeah, I would. That home has received some serious roof damage. Absolutely, I would be interested to see how much damage was done to the interior of the home too, as well on the other side of that, because it looked like the storm kind of came from that one direction. But yeah, that home extensively damaged as well.
Yeah.
Definitely want to check in on those homeowners, make sure they're okay.
A lot of homeowners and business owners dealing with this kind of damage. As the sun is now up, we're getting a better picture of what this damage looks like.
All right, so we've been able to kind of get you caught up on some of the damage around the area. We're talking about the gas leaks that we've noticed, the power outages, the elementary school, and then the businesses that have suffered the damages as well. I think we got to get caught back up with meteorologist Zach Scott and Michelle Trotter as they take another dive into the radar and kind of show us where things are right now.
And before we send it to Zach, actually, I do want to say the Johnson County Sheriff, where Zach is tracking the latest rotation, he's actually, and some of his staff are headed to an area north of Clarksville near Highway 103 where he was tracking a potential tornado on the ground. So they're getting reports of trees down in the Batson area, and they do have units headed that way to assess the damage and find out if anyone was hurt. So Zach, we'll send it over to you for the latest.
Yeah, thanks, Laura Rubin. That lines up right where we were seeing the potential for the debris signature being shown on radar. So that lines up. It looked like we didn't have spotters out there. We didn't have storm chasers. We were going based off the radar. Radar was telling us that a tornado was on the ground, and we tracked it for you. And it was brief, but it looked like it could have been strong. It was only a couple of scans. Maybe it was 10, 15 minutes on the ground, but we saw that debris signature show up. Next scan, it was gone, but you could see that maybe the debris was still lofted in the air and then starting to fall down across Johnson County. Again, that's what we do. We want to focus in on those storms we think has the greatest potential and then track it. Sure enough, National Weather Service saw it as well, and then eventually put the tornado tag on there, really just in time as the tornado was likely forming and touching down on the ground. Let's backtrack. We've done this earlier this morning. Let's do it again. We just saw the damage, the debris. We've seen the videos, the images coming in from around Springdale. Let's track out the radar. Again, this is 3:50 in the morning. This is when everyone was asleep. The line started to come in. It's a straight line. Now we start to see a little rotation. Let's go ahead, pause it right there, Michelle. We'll bring it in and we'll leave it here for a second. Now you start to see that kink. Now we're getting that turning. Just like that, within 2 scans, the storm went from not really rotating to a rotation, a broad one. Next scan, tight rotation. This storm was rapidly deciding it was going to produce a tornado, and it came right over the Johnson exit. This is where the station is, just off the interstate. This rotation passing right over top of us continues to tighten. We'll stop it. This is, I think, when the tornado was on the ground. Now, obviously, we're seeing that line up with the damage, the power outages. This is the best signature that really shows those couplets that really at its tightest. We can zoom in here a little bit more. Highway 412, you see the Interstate 49 to the west, downtown Springdale coming back around. This is where we likely saw that tornado officially on the ground. Again, tightened rapidly as it passed over Interstate 49, went over Johnson, tornado on the ground. And this is what's unfortunate when we've zoomed into some of our other counties to the south, not a lot of streets. We're right here into the heart of the viewing area where we've got our more dense population, and this is unfortunate. This tornado didn't have anywhere to go, just out in the middle of nowhere. Wherever it was going, people and businesses and homes were going to be there. And so we're seeing that tornado on the ground. Again, very quick, doing the damage, crossing 412, going up 265. Let's do the next scan. We may have to zoom out a little bit. So that was at 410. So likely tornado on the ground, 405, 410. And see if you can back it up just a little bit. Already weakening. There's the 405. Next scan would be right in there, weakening, and then the tornado's probably gone. So you got about a 10, 15-minute window that we saw that storm pulse up, touch down the tornado, and then get out of here. It just was unfortunate that it was in a heavily more dense populated area versus some of the other tornadoes that we've seen. We still cover them. Doesn't matter if it's a dense area or it's a more rural area. We've got people scattered all across eastern Oklahoma, the River Valley, and northwest Arkansas. We're going to track those storms out for anyone that could be impacted. Here's the latest look at radar. We've got the line of storms. It's now out of Scott County. It's out of our area. Now it's moving into Little Rock, Central Arkansas's area. We'll continue to let that storm go. If you've got family, friends, property down towards the south, this storm's likely going to continue to go off towards the east, damaging wind threat, and likely even a few more tornado warnings will will pop up with that. We're still tracking the northern edge of this line, racing to the northeast right through the heart of Logan County, and it's impacting Paris. We've got some strong winds possible there, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We've still got another storm pushing through Johnson County. This is not the storm that we're talking about produced a tornado. That one's already gone. This is another one moving over the same area. So now we've got officials just trying to go out, see if a tornado did touch down, look at the damage, see if anyone needs help, and you've got another severe storm already moving over top of that one. That's why you can't let your guard down just because the first storm moves through. We've seen a lot of these storms training over the same areas. No rotation right now. Again, no severe or no tornado warnings, but the possibility that we could still see some damaging wind gusts. So heads up to you if you're listening to us over TV or you're listening to us. We're live streaming on social. Heads up if you're out in central Johnson, you still got some damaging winds could be moving through. Maybe there's some loose debris out there from the first storm that may have produced a tornado. Now it's picking that debris back up, could be scattering around. Just a dangerous situation. That's storm number one. There's storm number two. These are our two strongest moving through the viewing area off towards the east pretty quick. So let's go velocity real quick and just look back at the winds again, and we can maybe even track those out. Again, there's your strongest winds for Johnson County. We'll have to watch that, maybe a little kink there again. And then not too bad, but still some damaging winds possible, maybe pulsing up a little bit there. Some damaging winds possible there in central Logan County. Again, you see the little kinks along this line. I promise you this, that storm will continue off towards the east, and I wouldn't be shocked if there's a few more tornado warnings there, or at least tries to tighten up. Maybe even there south of Mount Ida, if you got friends or family down that way, maybe another little kink in the line trying to get going. Let's zoom in right here in Logan County real quick. Let's just look at the, again, possibly some damaging winds. We've already highlighted Shoal a couple times. Again, is it Coal Hill? Sorry. See if we can get it to pop up. Shoal Creek, sorry. All right, Scranton, Subiaco, strong winds pushing down Highway 109. Could see some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. Anything new, Michelle?
Nothing new, but they are just watching that severe thunderstorm warning right now in Johnson, Logan County. That goes until 9:15, so 45 more minutes.
Yeah. Look, these storms came in. They packed a punch. We're not completely out of the woods, but we are getting close. Again, we've been looking at mid-morning as that time frame when everything is, the severe storms are starting to exit off towards the east. We do still have a cold front back to the northwest that has to come through, and once it does so, late morning, early afternoon, temperatures are going to drop. Could fire up a few thunderstorms with it. But overall, the severe threat will be much lower. Maybe a few thunderstorms capable of some small hail and some lightning. We'll watch that. We have trimmed out a few more of the counties from the tornado watch. No longer, again, under the tornado watch in Benton, Washington, Madison, Crawford, Sebastian, Franklin counties. We're still under the watch for Scott, Logan, and Johnson. And again, that goes until 1 p.m. now?
They updated it, yes, 1 p.m.
Okay. And really, that's for the majority of the area to the east.
Yes.
We're going to be the next couple of counties trimmed from this watch are going to be these three counties right here. Again, severe thunderstorm warnings lining up as this line re-intensifies as it moves out of northeast or northwest Arkansas. We've seen the line really take off out of eastern Oklahoma. Stay strong. It's getting even stronger. Big bullseye for central Arkansas down towards Mississippi and the Mississippi River Valley, state of Mississippi and Alabama later today. This storm system is going to be racing off towards the east, and we're going to get several more rounds of severe weather to the southeast of us later today. So if you got friends, family, property, anything out that way of interest, it's going to continue. Here we go. Great job, Michelle. We're tracking out that cluster of showers and thunderstorms moving to the east. It's 8:30 right now. By 9:30, it's really pushing out of the area. By 10 o'clock, severe threat is east. Some lingering scattered showers and a few rumbles of thunder. Here comes a cold front. Yep, there you go. North winds taking over. Temperatures dropping into the 40s. It's very spring-like this morning, 60s and 70s over the last couple of hours. I know we've got some rain-cooled 50s in northwest Arkansas, spring thunderstorms. We're talking about a much chillier end to the day as this strong dynamic storm system sweeps through. Laura, Rubin, guys, anything?
Yeah, we definitely want to get everybody caught up on some of the other information. Great job, Michelle. Great job, Zach. Keep everybody.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Yep.
Keep going, Zach.
Yeah, so we are, again, we're still tracking. We're going to get some things ironed out here, but we're still tracking the tornado watch for Scott, Logan, and Johnson counties. I know you're lit up here in Logan County and Johnson County. You've had multiple warnings, tornado warnings after other. I'm looking for Scott County to get a break. You guys had several tornado warnings. The line is exiting Scott County. It's working through Logan. Two areas of interest that we're watching. Cluster of thunderstorms. Let's go ahead and zoom into the Johnson County one, and you can see again, I'll step on this side. as you can see the little kink. Go ahead, pause it. And then you can go back to reflectivity if you want. They were watching this. You can kind of see this little backward C feature again. We've seen several of these bow echoes fire up right in there. See that little indentation? If you're going to have some strong winds with this storm, it's going to be right there. Radar showing us that there are strong winds pushing the rain out ahead. You get the little curve, and that's where you're going to have your strongest winds. They're always going to be right in front of that indentation right there. Then you see the little jagged edges on the front. That's where you have to watch for those quick little spin-ups where you get those little kinks. We could certainly see one or two try to get going. Let's look at velocity and go when you get a chance and try to go to the more cleaner one, Michelle. And I'll give you a second to do so. Looks like it's trying. Did you see that? Looked like it was trying to do another little kink northeast of Clarksville. I'm also going to look at my radar right here as well. Maybe a little bit of a rotation trying to get going again. Very broad. There's just so much strong winds. We're getting further away from the radar here too. So again, now we're not looking in the lower levels. Again, the further you get from the radar beam keeps just going out. So it climbs in elevation the further you get away from it. We're at the edge of the radar right here. So now we're looking in the mid and upper levels of the storms. We know these storms are rotating, so you're still getting some of that rotation showing up, but we're not getting as clean a look in the lower levels of the atmosphere where that tornado would be, or those damaging straight line winds would be right at the surface. But we can still gather enough information to say this is a strong storm. There are strong winds within the storm. And at any moment, those strong winds from the mid and upper levels of that storm could come down to the surface. And so if that happens, we could be seeing some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds pushing off towards the east. Anything, Michelle?
No updates. National Weather Service has been pretty quiet, which is good news because that seems like the storms are now moving out of our area. But the biggest concern right now is just the strongest winds moving through Logan County right now. You can just see to the east of Paris, Soul Creek. That's, prepare for those winds to be in your area. And 65 to 60 mile per hour with also some hail.
Yeah, and again, I've covered storms in western Oklahoma, Texas, and now here in Arkansas, and 40, 50 mile per hour winds. I've seen those snap power line poles. I've seen those create some tree damage. So you don't even have to have the 60 plus mile per hour winds to create damage. You can get it with 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts. They're strong enough, and they can certainly, if they hit things just right, they can give some damage. So we're watching for the potential of 60 mile per hour wind gusts embedded within these storms. Right now, not widespread within the storm, but again, certainly possible within these storms as they continue to work eastward, pulse up and down. They can create some of those damaging wind gusts. So that's what we're watching for you. Again, the heavy rain moving out, scattered showers still lingering. Can we look at some rain totals? If you get a chance, can we go look at that? I know an hour or so ago we had at least around a half inch for a good portion of the area. So this is just since midnight tonight, correct?
Yes.
Inch and a half Fayetteville, coming in a little over an inch around Bentonville, Salisaw back towards Sequoia County, inch and a quarter. Not as much rain consistently like we saw the shield we got the initial wave of heavy rain and thunderstorms to come in, and then the lingering rain on the backside really helping bump those rain totals up. Down to the south, you've had your burst of heavy rain, but thankfully we haven't seen it train as much, especially with the terrain across these areas. We know that a lot of rain in a quick time doesn't always have a lot of places to go, and it's gonna gravity's gonna go to work, and it's gonna go into those creeks and streams and in those valleys and those gorges. So we'll continue to watch that. Been forecast in the last few days, a good chance for overall area wide, ½ inch to an inch and a half. Looks like that's where we are with some locally higher amounts up to around 2 inches. I wouldn't be shocked, especially in the bullseye of Washington County over towards portions of Madison County. You guys just saw wave after wave of heavy rain move through. So low-lying, poor drainage areas going to be dealing with a little bit of some flooding while the rain's still going. Once the rain really starts to taper off, those rain rates, they're already coming down. That water will subside, it'll move out. But some of those streams and creeks, if your house kind of backs up to one of those, could be running a little high for a little bit. Let's go ahead and go back to radar again. We'll do a little radar tour, make sure everybody knows what's happening in their area. Again, Washington County, we've got some off and on scattered showers here. A little bit of a breakout towards the west. Benton County, it looks like overall steady, light to moderate rainfall. Heavy rain still inundating all of Madison County towards Carroll County. Maryville, heavy rainfall. And then as you get towards the east, just outside of our area, the strong thunderstorms pulsing back up for Harrison to Jasper. You're coming back down to Clarksville. We're watching this severe storm right there. There it goes. You see the bow features in it. So it's showing us, hey, there's some strong winds embedded in there pushing through, and then back towards the south. Almost done, Logan County. You're almost done. We've got this line of storms that's pushing through, capabilities of some small hail, and then also the possibility of 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And finally, you're getting a breakdown in Scott County. Line of storms is going to be rolling eastward. Business, pleasure, anything got you heading down I-40 towards Little Rock, Central Arkansas? Maybe you're heading towards Memphis. Maybe you're going to Northeast Arkansas today. Whatever it is that's taking you there, you're going to be tracking with this line of storms. This is going to be heading that way. If you're out ahead of it, stay ahead of it if you can. If you're behind it, go ahead, or it's on top of you right now, give it a couple minutes, and then you'll track behind it as you go through your on with the rest of your day. Looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning just picking up with this storm.
Yes, it includes Johnson County.
Real messy here.
Yeah.
I bet some of these, they'll issue a new one right before the old one expires. So it'll kind of clean itself up here over the next 10 to 15 minutes. But you got a lot of overlapping warnings here. Again, mainly looking at damaging wind gusts. I don't see any circulations here that are kind of giving me some concern that we're going to get another brief spin up. And this, you're almost done in Johnson too. Johnson County, you're almost done. We've got the leading edge of the strong winds about to push out of your area. And then down towards the south.
And the reason why the radar right now is kind of purple is because the Ozarks are over there, and the radar can't really go, has a hard time picking up over the mountains. Yeah. And so that's why you're seeing kind of that disorganization, I guess, purple. Yeah. But there is definitely some strong winds with this storm, and it's all over central Arkansas and over the Ozarks. Yeah, and this is why you have us. We break down all these colors. We tell you what it means, where the rotation is, where the tornado is. That's what we do. We break down the radar for you. We tell you what it is that you're looking at and how we're going to, move forward and handle that. Right now, no tornado warnings, but we still have the severe thunderstorm warnings. And we're going to continue to stay on here and track these storms for you until they're completely out of the area. Again, a noisy morning. We've seen a lot of areas impacted with these strong storms. So we are overall going to continue to get them out of here. And we're still going to be dealing with some wet conditions as everyone tries to get out there and find out who saw what. All of us saw some heavy rainfall. National Weather Service, Tulsa and Little Rock probably going to split going and surveying the damage. Little Rock's got a whole day ahead of them still as they're tracking these storms. We're going to get a break for Tulsa, and they're going to get out there and survey. I'd be curious to find out what happened, Michelle, out there in LaFleur County. Possibly 2 tornadoes on the ground. That first one, it certainly looked like it was on the ground briefly. And then, of course, from what I've seen, we haven't really seen much coming out of northeastern Oklahoma. I think as far as Tulsa goes, that's probably priority number 1 is going to be Springdale. That's where the most significant damage of their whole area of coverage is coming from. So I imagine they've got teams that are going out now. They're on their way, and they're going to survey that damage, and they're going to come up with the exact path. They'll do aerial shots. They'll tell us the exact path when that tornado was on the ground, when it lifted. We'll see how wide it was, and by looking at the structures that are damaged, destroyed, whatever it is, they're going to be able to determine how strong of a tornado was. Michelle? Yeah, if you want to take a break, I don't mind. So they did just issue a new severe thunderstorm warning for, it now includes Johnson. That goes until 9:15, or should I say Logan, I'm sorry. And that goes until 9:15, and they issued it because of the 60-mile-per-hour winds. Gusts could be about 75, and then hail is about quarter size. And you can just see it's just a mess along this line as it pushes into central Arkansas. So good news for northwest Arkansas. It seems like it's just some general rain showers. The severe threat for northwest Arkansas is over. So that is some good news if you're northwest Arkansas, about to head to work. We'll see some general rain showers for probably until late morning, early afternoon, like what Zach was saying. The River Valley, I know a lot of people in Fort Smith have been asking about the River Valley on Facebook Live. Fort Smith and Poto and LaFleur County, you guys are done with a severe risk for today, so that is some good news. You guys kind of had a ton of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings this morning. But it really looks like for us, as of now, most of the severe risk has died down. We're just seeing a couple in Logan County right now and Johnson County. But other than that, though, it looks like for most of us, the severe risk is done, and which is some good news. Yeah, and again, we're still tracking just a couple strong thunderstorms. I mean, they are working their way out of Johnson in the next few minutes, and then out of Scott and Logan County are about to get a break, especially you and Logan. Working into our eastern zones.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. All right, we have got crews out across the area, and they're going to be out there all day long assessing the damage. We're going to continue to do updates on social, so stay with us there. And we're also going to be doing cut-ins as we go through the morning. And as new information comes in and out, we are going to get, again, all that information to you. Now, should a storm pulse up again, you better believe we are going to come on here, and we are going to track that storm out, and we will keep you updated, and we will keep you safe. Laura, Ruben?
We're going to send it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess
we
we're
have our
back.
mics on.
Well, we've been having a little bit of technical difficulties
Yes.
behind the scenes, so we were going to make sure. So, okay. Okay, we're going to walk you through this. This is live TV as it happens, right? So we're going to be going through this all at the same time. This is, again, would you say Brashears in Springdale, in the Springdale area?
So lots of businesses near the Springdale Municipal Airport are damaged, and you're actually looking at furniture and insulation mixed in with that debris there on your screen.
Yeah, these are new images. We are just now getting into the newsroom right now. Again, of course, breaking news live for you this morning. As we go through this, you can see a chair on the floor there. You can see the siding all just completely mangled away from the building. These are this is what people are waking up to on this Wednesday morning.
So obviously a lot of damage that we're looking at businesses and homes in Springdale, but keep in mind there were problems on the roads this morning. One of our coworkers' husbands was driving to work from West Fayetteville to downtown Springdale this morning. It took him more than an hour to get there, and he took some of the pictures of some of these businesses that you're looking at.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, with this much wind damage, with this much damage in general, you're also talking about some down power lines most likely. When you have down power lines, you've probably got intersections without power, which we heard from Captain Jeff Taylor earlier this morning with the Springdale Police Department, who told us directly there were several intersections that did not have power. So they were asking people to be very cautious and decide whether or not they actually needed to get out. That is one thing that they are expressing. Please stay away from some of these damaged areas so the emergency officials can do their job.
Yeah, don't drive near those down power lines, and certainly if you see an intersection without power, treat it as a four-way stop, as police will definitely tell you. But we want to get back to George Elementary School in Springdale, where the mayor has told us, police have told us that is the worst of the damage in Springdale if what we just showed you wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, this is going to really probably open your eyes as you get the complete picture of what's going on. A lot of crews on the scene now, dump trucks there on the scene. They're going to try to take out some of this damage and kind of see what's going on. That pile of damage on the side is a roof of the gym at George Elementary, and you can see people walking on the roof right now. A lot of damage in that area.
And you see some of those people, the crew members, walking on the ground there, and that pile of debris from the gym's roof is more than triple their height, I would say. I mean, this is a massive pile of debris. So we want to get right to 5 News reporter Tiffany Lee, who is live there now. Tiffany, what's the latest out there?
Yeah, hey guys, like you said, it's a pretty crazy scene out here. We've got a ton of crews out here. A lot more have come within the last hour. You can see they're dumping out some insulation right now that they've taken from inside that have fallen down. We've got people on the roof checking out what's going on there, and people kind of just looking at everything, figuring out the next move. We have dump trucks out here. I mean, people are hard at work trying to figure out what to do with all this debris. You can even see behind it, I don't know if you can see right now because of the trucks, but some houses behind that damage, they have damage as well. Like their roofs are caved in, they're missing part of their roof. It's a pretty crazy scene. Now we're going to pan over here where it's not just a gym. You take a look at this playground over here where they've been cutting down trees that have fallen over on top of the playground, and the swings, they're all twisted into each other, and it's just kind of a crazy sight. It's hard to believe that this is an elementary school, and it's a very good thing now kids weren't here when all of this happened. So we had the chance to talk to Trent Jones, the communications director here. He said they don't have school today. The whole school district is out. Some other schools are without power, but they haven't seen damage that's extensive. But they want to make sure that other schools are okay as well. He said today is all about keeping people safe and making sure that families, employees, everyone is okay and that they can help them in any way they can. And so here he is telling us a little bit more just about what they plan to do today.
Tiffany, I'm not sure if we'll be able to take that soundbite because of some of the difficulties we've been having in the control room. So let's ask you a couple of questions while you're there. You've been there all morning. Can you give us an idea of what, as you spoke to the people, the officials in Springdale, what is their take? Like, how are they feeling when they get there and they see the amount of damage? It's got to be just breathtaking.
Yeah, when I talked to Trent, and the first thing I said, have you ever seen anything like this? And he said, no. He was like, I've never seen anything like this. He said, but this is really an opportunity for us as Springdale School District to come together and to take care of one another and to let our people know that we're going to do our best to take care of our students, our employees, and that we're here for them. If anyone needs anything, please reach out to us and let us know, because as a school district, we are here to help. But he just kind of kept looking at it, and he was like, yeah, I've just never seen anything like this. And I think he almost seemed like he was kind of shocked. He didn't really know what to say, because you show up and you look at this school, and I mean, honestly, like, we were kind of speechless when we pulled up to it. You just don't expect to see anything like this.
Yeah, very serious situation there, Tiffany. We really appreciate your live reports all morning long, but we want to take a look at Brashear's Furniture in Springdale. This is on Thompson, South Thompson Street, not far from the Outback on Thompson, which we saw the Outback there has a lot of damage, and so does this furniture store. I mean, look at all this furniture just out on display for everyone to see from the outside.
Yeah, that at the top, that's the roof. It appears that's gone, right? It appears like there's been some serious damage. Oh, maybe we're looking through a window at that point in time, so what it actually looked like. So it was an inside view just from looking outside to the window in. It looks like there has been a lot of damage to that. That's a furniture store, so there's furniture across the lawn in that area. You can see a couch kind of off by the side, and that's all the siding and the roofing, some of the stuff off the roof, the tin that has been just completely taken off the building right now.
Yeah, so that metal all mangled up. You can see a lot of the insulation mixed in with some of the debris seen on the ground, but this is a mess, and this is really part of the storm's path, and we are learning from at least the latest from police. They said it was at least a 3-mile path as it did start in the southeast side of Springdale, and then it went northeast toward where you're looking at now, towards the Outback, towards that furniture store.
Yeah, the other issues that we should probably talk about would be power outages that affect everybody in a lot of different ways. One of the ways, obviously, is at your home. According to what the math that we were able to do, Laura, would you end up with around 16?
Over 16,000 people and businesses without power right now. So we are continuing to follow that. A lot of this is confined in the Springdale area, as you can probably imagine. A lot of people in Springdale impacted by debris like what you just saw.
And there's a secondary element to that, right? So your homes and your businesses might be out of power, but then some of the street lights, some of the streets and the intersections are without power. When we spoke to Captain Jeff Taylor, that was one of the points of emphasis that he gave us to give to the public, was that there are going to be a lot of intersections without power right now. And because of that, it's going to slow down traffic. Mm-hmm. It's going to make things more congested than they may normally be on a morning like this. So if you don't have to be out in those areas, they're asking people not to be out in those areas while they've got their hands full with all of the damage, much less trying to navigate all of the traffic and accidents that might happen from people doing that.
But this is the latest map from SWEPCO. So more than 8,000 people, more than 8,000 of their customers without power. At least 7,300 of those are in our viewing area in the Springdale area. So as you're looking at those power outages in Washington County, we want to send it back to Zach, because people in Johnson County are also reporting power outages as well.
Again, going back just to the damage that we saw there, I know we've shown some video of at least one house with a good portion of the roof gone. The greatest damage that we've seen so far, and again, we're just getting daylight here in the last hour or so, the greatest damage is with those metal structures. So shows you why you gotta be in a more sturdy brick concrete structure. Now, of course, at some point, the strength of storms over time, you can't have some storms that it's just going to be hard to be safe if you're in its path. But for the storms today, it looked like if you were in one more of those sturdier structures, not in one of those metal buildings, you certainly had a better chance. So we're thankful that we haven't really had that many reports or really any reports of injuries this morning. Certainly possible with the storms that we saw. Also, you hate to, it happened at night. It still went through a populated area, went through neighborhoods, but just so thankful it didn't happen when school was in session and we had people, children, teachers inside the gym. So again, it happened in the morning hours, which always makes us nervous because so many of you are sleeping. You're not aware of what's heading your way. But maybe for this instance, a lot of those homes were a little bit safer for you than the school could have been, or that furniture store if it had been in operation and during business hours, or the gym if people had been there. So again, we are quieting down across a good portion of the area. We're hanging on to a few strong storms. They are exiting far eastern Johnson County now. Are we clear down in, there's Scott, there's Logan. Is this last storm out of the way? Almost out of the way. And then we're going to clear you out of there. You're clear from Rogers down I-49 to Chester to Van Buren, Fort Smith. Just some scattered showers. Scott County's quiet. We've got lingering showers and some rumbles of thunder for the majority of Logan County. Watching this far little eastern edge now, you've got some thunderstorms moving through, capable of some gusty winds, and then one of those stronger batches still working through the Clarksville area over towards Johnson. Let's go velocity if we can and just try to see where the strongest winds are. Just push through Clarksville, possibility of some damaging wind gusts just now to the east of Clarksville, and is going to continue to push off towards the east. Thank you, Michelle. Great job there. You can really see it. I know we're getting a lot of clutter here. But right before it kind of does that, you see those pinks right there. Those bright pinks came right through Clarksville. Possibility of some damaging straight line winds there. That's what the warning's for. You can see how it centers up right with the warning here. Possibility if we were going to have 60-mile-per-hour damaging straight line winds, that's where it was going to be. That is now pushing to the east, southeastern Johnson County. Just a couple more minutes, and then those strong winds are going to be pushing through. National Weather Service in Tulsa, again, is going to get out there either today or tomorrow and assess the damage. It looks like, as of right now, I'm thinking, and Michelle, if you agree too, possibility of 3 tornadoes. For sure, we've got the damage reported for the Springdale area. That lines up with what looked like a tornado on the ground in the Springdale area. We did have reports of what was it? Was it Laura? You were talking to a sheriff in Johnson County that was maybe had the visual on the tornado at one point?
Yeah, he's been in communication with our newsroom, and he essentially said that there is where you were tracking that rotation earlier this morning. He was telling, and I'm trying to pull up that exact text message, but he confirmed that there are units that headed out to that area north of Clarksville near Highway 103, and they were getting reports of trees down in the Batson area, which Zach was talking about all morning long, and was calling units to head that way. So as soon as we get an idea of the extent of the damage there and what people are dealing with, we'll be sure to let you know about that.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted as we get more information. We want to go back out to the Springdale area, out in that Thompson Street area where we have heard a lot of damage has been taking place. We're going to kind of take a walkthrough, kind of a live walkthrough together, and give you a second-by-second idea of what people are seeing and what's happening out there in the Thompson area right now.
This is kind of the eye of where the storm hit. I mean, this is where we're seeing the most damage is in the Thompson area of Springdale. So you're seeing downed trees, you're seeing limbs on the ground, you're seeing...
Look at that right there. I mean, that's a lot of trees on that roadway right there, on that parking lot, I should say.
So we've seen uprooted trees. We've seen a lot of those buildings with the metal on them, not necessarily that particular one that we're looking at, but a lot of that metal, the sheet metal and siding is down at a lot of businesses. We've seen a furniture store with basically the interior exposed now because the roof was damaged in that.
It looks like Brashears might be in that same building, office building area that Riley, our photojournalist Riley DeRoche, is actually walking in right now because it has the same type of structure. But you're talking about damage on the sides of those streets where that's the area where the Outback is located, right? That's the area where this Brashears Furniture is located. You can see the sign right there. So you can see that what he did was he started on one side of the building where the damage on the trees had knocked stuff down, and now he's walking us to the opposite side of the building where you can see the damage to the actual building itself that was created by the storm. So it gives you an idea of how widespread that wind damage was happening. That's the trees were down on the other side of that parking lot.
And as he continues on that tour, we saw some Springdale police officers out there. They've been so busy all morning. But yeah, look, a completely different picture as you look at this business with all that metal mangled up, as well as insulation of that furniture store.
Yeah, I'd love to get, Michelle, if your microphone is on, I'd love to get you guys' take on what just from your years of covering storms, what this seems to look like for you guys as you see, again, the trees down on one side, and now you're talking about storm damage to the building on the whole other side of the building.
Yeah, that damage, I definitely can say, I want to guess EF1 or EF2 because that's some significant damage that has been done to that. And you could just see the roof, and it's just I think this tornado honestly started to touch down on the ground after the mall, and then that's why it moved into the Outback Steakhouse and kind of the Springdale area. But it looks horrible, honestly, to see this, and just to know that people weren't there. I think that is probably the greatest news to hear, is that everyone is safe and it's just the building that was damaged.
And at 4:13 this morning is when I actually got an emergency alert on my phone. So our station is located, just to put this in perspective for you, we're in Johnson. So we're in the Springdale area, and we all got an alert on our phone saying there was a tornado warning, you know, go to your safe place. And this was why. This is the power of the storms that we saw early this morning, way before the sun came up.
Yeah, so if there's ever a silver lining in something like that, it's that it happened at a time frame whenever there were not a lot of people around. And speaking of something happening when it's not a lot of people around, that is exactly what we can say for George Elementary. We find Tiffany Lee live right now over there in Springdale. Laura.
Yeah, and Tiffany, I've been texting with Mayor Sprouse of Springdale, and he was telling me the worst of the damage is right where you're at George Elementary School. So what has the school told you? What is some of the damage that they're seeing, and what are crews doing on the ground now?
Yeah, Laura, we've been out in Springdale all morning, and this is definitely some of the worst damage that we've seen. It's pretty crazy. This is probably the most extensive amount of damage that we've seen. And you can see there are a lot of crews out here right now. There's insulation on the ground. There's people on the roof. People are just kind of trying to figure out what to do with all this debris. That debris that you're seeing, that's actually from the roof of the gymnasium right there where people are working. And so it flew from that over there, and you can even see parts of the structure within that debris. And I mean, it is so high. I mean, I can't even tell you. You could probably stack 10 of me on top of each other, and I don't even know if I'd be as tall as that debris right now. And so you've got a lot of people out here. They're even on the playground trying to cut down trees that fell over on slides, on the, you know, the jungle gym, things like that. The swings, they're all twisted within one another. It's a crazy sight to see at an elementary school, and what a blessing it is that, you know, kids and teachers, they weren't here when all this happened early this morning. So the school district, you asked what they were saying. What they're saying right now is Springdale School District is canceled today. They are taking this time to check on all the schools, to check on all their employees, their families, their students, and make sure that everyone is okay. They want to make sure that all the schools are safe before they meet back in person again. And they said that today will not be a virtual day because they want to take today to make sure everyone is safe. They said some of their students are without power. Some of their schools are without power. And then you look at this damage right here, and there's no way that they could have met for school. And so he said, again, that their main focus is just to check on everyone. And if anyone needs anything, to just let them know. But we asked him, we said, is this the worst that you've ever seen? And he kind of looked back at it, and he was like, I've never seen anything like this with Springdale School District. And so it's definitely a lot to take in. And I think everyone out here is trying to do the same. And they're just trying to figure out the quickest and safest way to clean all of this up.
All right, Tiffany, let me ask you real quick before we let you go. Could you guys pan to the actual school building itself? I mean, this is the pile of debris. Yeah. Can Stephen get us a shot of the actual school building so we can get an idea of how much that roof moved and kind of what the difference in the... Now, look at the... You see the school building is made of brick, right? Mm-hmm. And you see that the roof... Yeah. The roof gets taken off, but the building itself stands even through this storm. Meteorologist Zach Scott making that point time and time again this morning that when you deal with these kind of storms, that can sometimes be the difference in the amount of damage that you see in your home and into a building. And I believe, I'm not sure if you guys can still see it, but there was a roof taken off of a home right behind him, Laura.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously these brick buildings are definitely more durable than the metal buildings that we've seen damage in this storm, but crews are working hard out there nonetheless. Tiffany, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can kind of see it if we go over, it's behind that work truck. It's kind of behind a tree if we can zoom into a little bit. But just everything in this area was pretty damaged. Those are the neighborhoods that we were at earlier today, just kind of right behind the school. And so you can see it definitely devastated this whole area, and a lot of the families that lived over there, their kids go to school here. And so everyone's kind of feeling the effect of that this morning.
All right, Tiffany, we really appreciate your reporting this morning. Of course, you'll stay out there and keep us updated with the very latest. The good news out of this is silver lining, if you want to call it, is no injuries reported so far in Springdale. And we're talking about that's a lot of damage that we've seen. So even though there's not been any injuries reported yet, still a lot of people impacted.
Yeah, and we just got this into our newsroom. Some breaking news, but some good news for anyone impacted by this storm. The Jones Center there in Springdale is now open for hot coffee, bottled water. And so anyone is welcome welcome to come out to the Jones Center and get a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, just a perfect example of, what you see when a tragedy hits or when something hits. The communities come together and they help each other and they support each other. I mean, it's remarkable how many people are already out at the school this morning trying to clean up that debris. I mean, it's not even night. It's just now 9 a.m. and they were already out there before the sun even came up this morning. So, all right, I know we want to continue to keep people updated. I think it's about time to get back to meteorologist Michelle Trotter and Zach Scott. I've been saying names so long this morning, they're running together. As you guys, I know some of the warnings have expired, but still some storms to be keeping our eye on.
Yeah, again, we're not dealing with any tornado warnings right now. We still do have portions of our far eastern areas of Johnson and Logan counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. And we still have the 3 counties as well, Logan, Scott, and Johnson counties under the tornado watch. They will be next to be removed from this tornado watch. We've slowly canceled the tornado watch from northwest to southeast. These are the active watches and the active warnings. We'll throw radar on there and you can see what these thunderstorms look like. Again, meteorologist Michelle Trotter doing a great job tracking these storms out. We're in the clear right now back out towards the west with this round of heavy rain that's moved through. We do still have a cold front that's going to push in later on, late morning into the afternoon hours from northwest to southeast, and that will be responsible for kicking up a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms. The severe potential much lower, but with that front actually coming in, it could kick up. Kind of see it out there. The model's trying to pick up on it. Actually, it's coming in right here as temperatures are starting to drop. We've got that north wind coming in. Could get a thunderstorm or two with some lightning, some heavy downpours, maybe a pocket of some small hail. That's what we'll be watching. But overall, you see the trend. It's not as fast as we want it to be, right? But the trend will be for rain chances to decrease. Our highest chance of showers just happened a couple of hours ago. We're decreasing those rain and thunderstorm chances as we move through the day. Started out warm, muggy, very spring-like. That's the environment that the storm system tapped into that instability. And then again has helped produce these strong to severe storms scattered around the area. Well, we're getting a colder air mass to come in. So our high temperatures for the day set way earlier this morning. We're going to be seeing temperatures dropping, so I want to give you a heads up on that as well. Northwest winds will take over, and you'll know that front moved through your area. And once that happens, your rain chances are rapidly going to wrap up as we go through the rest of the day. Temperatures will drop into the 40s. We're talking about wind chills in the 30s later on. All right, here we go. Looking at radar again, still picking up on light scattered showers, so we're going to be in and out of the rain, but it's a lot lighter now for South Oliver towards Fort Smith. That is the leading edge of severe weather. That is your primary severe weather threat for the day. It is exiting our eastern zones, and we're going to continue to get it out of here. Just a few more minutes in Johnson County. You guys got a few more minutes with some thunderstorms, some gusty winds, but overall the severe threat continues to rapidly decrease for us here across northwest Arkansas. Ruben, Laura.
Yeah, Zach, thanks a lot. We do have some breaking news we need to bring to you right now, consider it around this storm coverage.
Yeah, so we've been talking with the police at Springdale, and Captain Jeff Taylor has just told us that 7 people are injured. 2 of them are considered to be in critical condition. Yeah,
all morning long we have been hearing that they weren't sure any injuries have been reported, but just now, just minutes ago, we did get confirmation from Captain Jeff Taylor that there have been 7 injuries reported. 2 of those, as Laura just said, are considered critical injuries. We will, of course, keep you updated as if any more injuries become aware.
Yeah, and we do know that those 7 people either took themselves to the hospital or went by ambulance. But again, 2 of those people in critical condition, and we'll be sure to bring you the very latest as soon as we get it.
We still want to keep you updated on what's happening at George Elementary there in Springdale as well, suffering a lot of damage. The school is. We've been taking live shots of that school all morning long. I believe we still have that shot available. If we do, we're going to stay away from that for now. We're just going to stay here and keep you updated on what we're going to do. So what we're going to do now, Laura, I believe, is we're going to come back at noon and get everybody caught up on what exactly has happened. Thank you so much for staying with us all morning long.
Yeah, and we'll have live updates for you as they're merited. So stay with us before your 5 News at noon. Keep Channel 5 on all day long. Download the free 5 News app, because we're going to send alerts right to your phone as soon as we get the information that we've been telling you since 4:20 this morning into our newsroom. We'll push those alerts right out to your phone. So download the free 5 News app, allow the notifications, and we'll keep you posted with the latest information here on Channel 5 as well.